What is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Or if you are new here, welcome. I am the Wolfman, or Oscar's Wolf today, because today we are going to not only discuss some other news, but we're going to break down the Oscar nominations. As y'all know from watching our stream, I had to rush to work when we did our Oscar nominations reaction. So I really didn't have time to break them down or process them or talk about them or anything like that. So I've had time now to fully process the nominations, and we can actually go through them, break them down, and then actually tell you guys what we think should win and what we think will win. And that's kind of going to be what we do, is going around each one of us tonight. And before that, though, major news just broke, and we are going to discuss that major news. Amelia Peakrez, as Tristan would call it, is no longer that anymore, because somebody has plummeted that film into the ground. Unfortunately, Tristan and I legitimately were going to be on here tonight making a bet, because he was so confident in Amelia Perez winning Best Picture. We were going to make a bet for you guys, $10, if it wins or if it doesn't win. Now that bet is off after tonight, and we're gonna discuss as to why, and then of course, break down the Oscar nominations for you guys. And of course, I got an esteemed panel here of great award pundits. Tristan, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I have to take an L tonight, I think, for a little while, but it'll be a fun episode.
Oh yeah, for sure. And thank you, Dan, for agreeing to come on tonight.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be here. Thought I get to be on with Tristan, because I know you've been trying. Our ships have been ships going in two different directions, and we finally got to where we're on.
Yeah.
I've been Wolf has been speaking good things about you.
I hope I live up.
A lot of people have been speaking some good too. But yeah,
nobody says anything good about Ross, though. No, I'm kidding. Ross.
I just kidding.
And of course, I know, I want to say something about the situation that we're going to talk about. We already agreed that we were going to talk about this morning, but then of that one issue. But then there's been 7 or 8 more since this morning, and that's what makes it crazier.
Yeah. So
you gotta like news though, because that gives us something to talk about.
Yeah,
that's true. It gives us something to discuss even more, because, boy, we'll just get rolling with that. I'll kind of go around the room and get each of your opinions on this matter. But first thing is, and I guess I'll start with me first, is that the Amelia Perez situation. Basically, what happened was Carla Sofia Gascon, the nominee, the first ever trans actress to be nominated for Best Actress. It was a historic moment, but that she eventually decided to ruin, because now these tweets have resurfaced online that she has made. And it's not like a James Gunn situation where it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, however long it was, they made these tweets that were kind of inappropriate, but they've changed a lot since then. These were back in 2022, 2023, that kind of recent kind of stages. And they are definitely questionable, especially in Hollywood. You don't want to say this kind of stuff in that kind of circle. Basically, it was tweets about George Floyd at one point, and about how people never really cared about him. And then she at one point talked about how Hitler was actually an okay person. And then she tweeted out a bunch of stuff about Islam and anti-Muslim stuff, and then anti-religion stuff. She tweeted out a whole tweet about the Oscars and how they're a facade and a fake show, and how her crippled cousin should be awarded Best Short Film at this point or whatever. and she made like homophobic tweets about Miley Cyrus, saying that like all lesbians are going to go to hell or whatever. And it was just like really, really bad stuff. And apparently now, this is unconfirmed. I have a source though who's telling me this information, and news hasn't actually broke through the main headlines yet. But apparently, there's even accusations that Carla is responsible for some drug/child trafficking. Apparently, a SAG voter supposedly has made an accusation that she was a child trafficker and a drug trafficker or something like that. So we'll wait to hear if more news breaks on that. But I have a source deep inside who has basically said that a SAG voter is accusing her of this kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes down the line. But yeah, definitely some very suspicious stuff. And I definitely want to get all of your takes on it. Next, with you, Tristan, like, what are your whole takes on this situation, and how does it affect Amelia Perez and Carla? Do you think that her nomination is going to be rescinded or what? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bummer because I was obviously the biggest kind of Amelia Perez defender on this show, and I was having a good time playing that part, and being kind of like the Joker card among the people here, being the one who was kind of trying to defend this outside movie that was coming in and having a big shot. And now it's a bummer because it's no longer like an argument about the movie or certain elements of the movie, the music, anything like that. It's become something entirely about outside factors. And now it's not nearly as fun. Like, I don't want to sit here and cheer for Amelia Perez anymore because there's all of this baggage hanging over Amelia Perez. And I'm not going to be the only one who feels that numbing effect. And I think anyone who is kind of voting for this movie as that like rebellious kind of FU to the establishment or anything like that is going to see these tweets and be turned off. And not to bring this back only to the Oscars, but I definitely do think Amelia Perez as an Oscar winner is very much done. I think not only her picture, but I think every single other award down the line that it was having a shot at, including foreign film, including supporting actress. I think all of those categories are up for grabs at this point. And they may hold on to a couple of them, but I think right now anyone who has an outside shot is rising up those ranks. And it's unfortunate to have it end this way because it was a fun season to have all these different debates about the different movies, and it's always a bummer when it ends on such an ugly note. But like you said, it's one thing to tweet an offensive joke that maybe you wouldn't say now, but back then 15 years ago maybe you can get away with saying. These are not jokes, these are just very, very poor opinions, ignorant, beyond ignorant, just abhorrent opinions, things that you can't defend, things that you cannot write off, and very recent things too. And she has responded and apologized, but not in great detail, not really taking much fault for what was said, and still kind of trying to paint the blame on other people. So, yeah, if you can't even admit, like, maybe you come out and say, look, I went through some bad times in 2020, but I've changed. But there was none of that. There was not really an admission ever that she didn't mean what she said. It was just kind of like, I'm sorry those things got found. And that's not how you want to respond to this. So, yeah, she's done. I don't know if she's disqualified, but she's not going to be at the ceremony and she's not going to win. So it's over for her.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Pretty much out of the question, especially if the SAG voter thing comes true.
And I don't want to focus on like some alleged SAG voter thing because there's no evidence of that right now. I want to focus on what indisputably did happen. And these tweets did happen. There's no denying that they happened. And she's not denying that she said them. So that's what I want to focus on for this conversation for me.
Agreed. What about you, Dan? How are you feeling about this?
My thing is this: who's got the record for most nominations and no wins? I would like to find out that information if somebody could pull that up.
You mean
this
acting?
Would be 0 for 13, right? It would be 0 for 13 if
the color purple. I think the color purple does that. Like, I think it's like 0 for 11 or something like that.
This would be a record breaker if it goes 0 for 13. I myself feel bad for Zoe Saldana, how she's going to be caught up in this net, and it's not her fault. What does she do wrong? You know what I mean? Why should she be at fault for something she didn't even do? You know, and she was the front runner for Best Supporting Actress. You know what I mean? Is she just getting caught up in this net because the movie that she is in, and that's it? I mean, that's you can't blame her. You know what I mean? I hope Hollywood wouldn't be that petty to blame Zoe Saldana for something she didn't even do. You know what I mean?
No.
I think it could still win there, because that's the thing, is like, if they're taking it on a level of like realism and saying, hey, Zoe Saldana was great, she hasn't made any offensive tweets, let's still vote for her. You know, I'm hoping.
And would Mike? The other question is, would Zoe Saldana want to win for this movie, or would she's nominated? She wants to win. She's a competitor. She's going to want to win. You know what I mean? Who knows? But yeah, this is absolutely terrible. I mean, it's you. Look, I'm a sports guy. I know a lot of you guys aren't sports guys, but I'm a sports guy. And there's a guy, he worked for ESPN. He used to be the coach of the New York Jets. He became the coach of the Arizona Devils, Sun Devils. Then he went back to ESPN. His name is Herm Edwards. And Herm Edwards used to do these conferences for college football players going into the NFL. And he would do these things. And he become famous for don't press send. Don't press send. Watch, be careful of what you write in these. Don't press send, or whatever it's called. You could look up his YouTube videos of him giving these talks. You gotta look at what you're saying and say, is this the right thing to be saying before I press send? You know,
if your tweet says the word Hitler in it, then maybe just like don't hit send.
Yeah,
unless the tweet is like Hitler bad guy, you know, maybe tweet that.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, I mean, you know, especially Hollywood, it's all Jews. Hollywood's all Jews. You can't be saying something positive about Hitler when Hollywood itself is all Jewish people. You know what I mean? That's like the death knell for anybody, you know.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Yep, and I just read her apology, Dan. I just read her apology.
No.
Oh my God.
There's no apology it's going to be acceptable.
What was the apology?
Yeah, we got to go into that, because the apology is
okay. Here's what she said, and can I read it because it's so fake? I want
paraphrase it.
No. The apology is so bad. You know, she wants to acknowledge, you know, like all the past social media posts that have caused so many pain and hurt. As someone in a marginalized community, I know the suffering all too well, and I am deeply sorry to those that have caused pain. I believe light will always triumph over darkness.
Yeah.
So she's basically being racist.
And not admitting fault ever. Like, there's nothing in there where it's saying I said something I didn't mean, or I've changed my position on any of those things. It's just like, oh, I know what it's like to have bad things said about you, and I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. But it's never, I didn't mean what I said, you know?
Yeah. And this doesn't bode well for the trans community either. Like that a trans woman, the first ever Academy nominated trans woman, is out there saying all these negative things about people. It's just going to shed more bad light on trans people.
Yeah, especially at a time when we don't need it, and our community is being trampled on already in so many different parts of the country. We don't need this. Like, this should be a moment for us to celebrate, you know?
In the White House?
This should be something we can celebrate. Like, even if we didn't like Amelia Perez, this was something to appreciate. Like, look, a trans person made it past this barrier that's big for us as a community, but she's really, really tainted that. And I wonder what happens. Do they take her nomination away or not? I don't know, but it's gonna hang a lot. I'm sure that conversation is happening right now in the Academy. That's something that they're talking about.
It's a conversation, but and obviously, like, the Oscars page apparently on Instagram has unfollowed Carla Sofia Gascon, which is a big thing, that the Oscars Instagram page unfollowed her. But here's the thing, though, is I'm also of the mindset of the Oscars might, you know, maybe they're afraid they'll get backlash, that they're transphobic if they rescind her nomination, because she is a transgender person.
Well, I'm
Despite
not.
having so many
Look,
stuff.
it's not apples to apples. It's apples to oranges. But there was a guy. His name is Reggie Bush. He played for the USC Trojans, and he, come to find out, he cheated on his academics or something, and the Heisman committee took away his Heisman trophy because he cheated with the academic. He didn't end up passing his courses. He cheated in college football, and so they took away his Heisman trophy. So I look at this as, if she did something wrong that broke the rules of the academy, they should rescind her nomination. It's like any of us. You speed and you get pulled over, Wolf, you're going to get a ticket, right?
Yeah.
So you have to pay the penalty. If she did something wrong that breaks the academy's rules, then she should be penalized. If it means losing her nomination for that, and the next person up gets that nomination, then that's so be it. And I'm all for
They won't
that.
do that. Dan, though, I'm going to tell you though, Dan, they won't do it.
Russ. Go ahead, Russ.
Sorry, like they will not give it to somebody else. They'll just be for this year. They don't do that.
Then if that's the case, then that's the case. But I'm just saying, she broke the rules and it went against the academy's bylaws and so forth. Then the nomination should be taken away. And I know it's apples to oranges with Reggie Bush and her, but that's the most thing that comes to mind for me.
And I want to point out here a quote from the Academy's official rules here that says, a winner for her or herself must act in appropriate conduct and not engage in any illegal other activity which would harm the sponsor's reputation. Failure to do so may result in disqualification or forfeit of the prize at the sponsor's discretion. So if they consider this to be a big enough move that it's going to harm the Oscars and the credibility of the Academy, then they can remove her nomination.
Bingo. Yep.
Yeah. Not to mention, she already kind of has teetered the line with their rules by like mentioning Fernando. This is very, very recent, like a few days ago, mentioning Fernando Torres in an interview, saying there are people who are close to Fernando Torres who are bad talking me and my movie.
Now that's a separate thing though, because you guys know it. We all watched the Golden Globes. We all paid attention to the Golden Globes chat and various podcasts chat where it's being spammed. What do you call it? In podcasts are being spammed by these accounts, these Brazilian accounts that are supporters of Fernando Torres. Now, if these Fernando Torres supporters are spamming her with negative comments and this and that and the other, and she's responding by saying that, I don't consider that a bad thing. And we have to understand that Mexico and Brazil and South America and Brazil, some of these Latin countries don't get along with each other at all. And this could be a rivalry between Brazil and Mexico. We don't know all the details here. We can't go crazy on that just yet.
That's true. And there's also, I've heard like a variety of different things that technically, because she didn't speak specifically bad on Fernando Torres herself, she said the people who work with Fernando Torres, like there's like certain stuff where maybe she didn't break the rules there just because of like she wasn't specifically bad talking Fernanda herself and everything. So there's and
if the Academy looks into it, they find that Fernando Torres's people were back talking her, then she was retaliating towards the people that support, which we all know they are going crazy for her.
Yeah, and it's a shame because there's always people out there who will take their passion too far, right? And I love seeing people who are passionate for Fernando Torres. I love seeing it in the comments every single video. But there's people who get on the internet and they forget that the person on the other side of the computer is a human being with like a brain and feelings, and they think, oh, I can just tweet whatever I want because it's the awards race or something like this happens. And now they feel like they have this moral pass to do anything they want to do or say anything they want to say. And I feel bad for people who are involved in this movie. Like people who have nothing to do with these tweets are now going to have to deal with harassment constantly because of this.
Yeah. I mean, I think if there's negative tweets against her co-stars, other people in entertainment, stuff like that, that's something you look as slander, as like, yeah, you don't make fun of people who have like disabilities or some kind of problem with their body or whatever. You know what I mean? There's no call for any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like one of the tweets that we didn't mention is that she fully made fun of Selena Gomez's disorder and everything that she had, and basically was saying how she's a fat hag or whatever. I forget the wording, but it was like something along those lines, and it was really disturbing because it's like that is a disorder that Selena Gomez had. She couldn't help it. It was a disease that she was dealing with, and it was like you just like made fun of her over that, and yeah, there's that right there is complete slander that of your own co-star. So that can definitely hurt.
It's all problematic. It's just a matter of, does any of it break the Academy's rules of what Tristan just read?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
you read the rules, they do have like somewhat vague language, and anything that they deem unsportsmanlike, that can be enough. So even if it's not technicality, like attacking the person that's nominated, if the Academy decides it's unsportsmanlike, that's the phrase they use, unsportsmanlike, then that disqualifies her. But
yeah,
again, even if she's technically disqualified, it's up to the discretion of the Academy to make that call. And
yeah,
Netflix has not really responded yet. The Academy has not really responded yet. It's only been like a day. I'm imagining we're not going to hear much from them until Monday. So I'm betting by Monday we hear more from Netflix, more from the people around Amelia Perez, and we'll hear a decision on the Academy whether or not she's taking it or not taking it. I think we'll hear by Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, these things, they don't happen in a day. You know, you got to give it a weekend to marinate and make people look into things and then make a decision.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the categories though, because this is such a crazy season, and like this is like the one of the craziest things I've ever seen happen like in the Oscar season. But like
it was already crazy that I'm
stuff.
Still Here got nominated for Best Picture, and now we got the now we got the AI stuff, and now we got the Fernando Torres conversation. Like, this is the most interesting award season we have ever had to date. Like,
and it's like every week something shakes it up. Like a couple of days ago, I was certain that Amelia Perez was running away with stuff, and now like a couple of days later, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, now it's like, I don't know. But what are you guys thinking on this whole situation? Do y'all think that Fernando Torres is still okay and that the movie is still okay, or do y'all think that, you know, this is really going to hurt his chances? Because I do want to point out the whole situation of the slap that happened with Will Smith. When that first happened, like, not only my mom mentioned this, but other friends of mine mentioned this, where they were like, wouldn't they think to just completely like kick Will Smith out? Like, at that moment, like, that would be the right thing to do. You'd be like, you just assaulted a person. Leave. Will Smith, please. Can you leave tonight? Like, can you please go? That kind of stuff. And they find a way to like remove him from the premises or something like that. But instead, they let the whole show go on and everything, and let him even have his Oscar speech and all that stuff. But yeah, you can comment on this first, Dan.
Yeah. All right. So that was such a sudden moment, and they knew he was going to win Best Actor. All right. And they didn't have the whole alopecia thing going on. They didn't know there was this beforehand of Chris Rock making fun of Will Smith's wife's alopecia and so forth. They didn't know there was this feud between these two that boiled over at this specific moment when he said that comment about her. Then she looked at him, gave him the look, he got up, and then bam. So there was a whole thing. And so they didn't make that split-second decision because they didn't have all the information that we eventually found out later. Is getting up and hitting a person in any moment, anywhere, in any situation right? No, it isn't. There's no call for getting up and slapping a person in the face. At the moment, I might add, I didn't think it was real. I thought it was a bit, but it turned out it was. But that's a whole nother thing. So I think it was really took them aback, and they couldn't make a decision right there on the spot. There's no way they were going to make a decision right then, and that was just too soon. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. They probably panicked. They didn't know how to react, but it definitely, messed up their Oscar ceremony the rest of the night. And they eventually did come to a conclusion of like what to do with Will Smith and how to handle that.
Yeah. And they appropriately handled it by suspending him for 10 years. Now he could still get nominated. He just can't attend. So
true.
And and just so you know, Wolf, we didn't know each other. I was going to bat for him. Like, man, emancipation, Will Smith should get nominated for emancipation. And as people like, too soon, dude. Too soon.
He'll get back there.
But he was amazing in Emancipation.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
my last thoughts on this really come down to it's very bad for Carla, of course, but I think there's a lot of egg on Netflix's face too tonight. Like, how in the world did you not find these tweets? Like, nobody on your team thought to Google it. Like, your awards team is very, very good. You have one of the best like PR teams in the entire business. How did nobody like say let's Google
millions,
like
multi-billions?
COVID? Like the most. It's like she went down the checklist of every single possible way to offend a person, and none of them got found by anyone. Like, I'm wondering if like Netflix's team just straight up does not have anyone who speaks Spanish or something, and they were like, oh, whatever, there's Spanish tweets, they're probably not that bad, and nobody even bothered to like try. Like, this is just such a terrible look on Netflix here.
I also did hear that. I don't believe this for a second, but I did talk to somebody today who said, well, you can never trust what Google Translate says, because Google Translate can like really mess up a lot of like stuff. Like, you watch a lot of these like, oh, Google Translate debacle, like they really made a mistake here, or they made a mistake there. Like, there's a lot of videos where someone will read all the errors of Google Translate and stuff, like on YouTube. So that is a thing that does exist on the internet. And somebody brought that up to me today, and I was like, I told them if that was the case, though, she would have said, I didn't say that. Google Translate, mixed my wording and all that stuff. She would have said that in her apology, but she didn't. She straight up admitted to what she said. So it's not a case of Google Translate messing up like an autocorrect kind of thing. It's not that case right now. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's basically the whole situation. Do any of you
Just I want to make a joke
that have like
about though. Do you want to say?
What?
Like her career is Thanksgiving dinner. Stick a fork in it. It's done.
Basically, yeah. And I wonder, like, now, like, do you think that? I'm curious. Do you think that this will like hurt the idea of nominating trans people in the future? Like, are they just not going to do that now, or is that going to be or is that like will her actions hurt the trans community?
Well, I'll tell you this.
Sense of that, or what?
Are you a fan of Baby Reindeer?
Yes, but I also regrettably watched it in one sitting, and it was very triggering for me, and I should not have watched it all in one sitting. But yeah.
Well, that the person that's in Baby Reindeer got nominated for an Emmy, and that was perfectly fine. That went over perfectly well. I'm sure trans people will get nominated again. And time heals all wounds. Like, I know some people have issues with Mel Gibson, but he's getting back into the, I wouldn't go see Flight Risk, but I mean, he's fine. Everything's starting to go away. I mean, some people are still butthurt about what Mel Gibson did, but you just need time for this stuff sometimes.
Yep, you do.
Agreed. Completely.
I don't think it's going to do much damage in terms of representation of the Oscars, but it's a shame because it's going to change, the way people talk about this award and the way people talk about her being nominated for it. And I do think it's going to damage the trans community's image, and it's given conservatives another like scapegoat joke to laugh at as like, oh, look, another crazy trans person who's done all these terrible things. And it reminds me of the Ezra Miller situation where it's like one of the most successful people in our community at the top of their game has to turn out to be a really troubled and terrible person and do so much damage when it could have been doing so much good for representation. And it's a shame that people who make it to the top, people love to pick and choose who we police, and there's a lot of people up for awards this year who have some troubled history. And it's a shame that her history is so important to people, but yet like other people, not so much. And I don't want to like name names necessarily, but it's easy to get mad at somebody in a movie you already don't like. And Amelia Perez was already the target of a lot of attention from people who were very, very upset at it. And people in other movies get a lot of free passes.
Well, the trans community as a whole didn't think the transition and some of the things that were going on in the movie were that realistic. Let's put that. Yeah. I'm not going to get into it because it's not my forte.
Do I compare the situation too in a way? Like and then like I hope I'm not like speaking on my thing. Like this guy wasn't trans, but like he was in the LGBTQ bubble, and that was that Jussie Smollett. Yeah, like he was another firing thing with the trans. Like he was another conservative firing thing.
So the two final thoughts I want to make is one. First off, this is more of like my joking comments. First off, is that like this is what y'all get for not nominating the better trans allegory, I Saw the TV Glow, which should have been the trans movie represented, because or Will and Harper, yeah, because those actually deal with like the trans subjects in much more nuanced and layered ways. I would have loved to have seen those nominated, or maybe if there was something else this year. Also, I wanted to point this out that there's two movies tied with the record of 0 for 11. So The Color Purple did go 0 for 11. It's the highest record, but to match that is The Turning Point from 1977. That film also went 0 for 11. And that's the highest it's gone.
So do you want to go for it now, Wolf? You want to try? What do we say that Amelia Perez wins? We could all take a turn at this. Do we all say 0 for 13?
I don't think it's 0 for 13. I think it'll get song, and I think it may get editing.
Yeah, I think best original song. I don't think editing. I think they'll maybe award like Sean Baker for editing or something, but I think that at this point it's going to be or the Brutalist for editing. But I think that at this point you're going to get maybe there's going to be only two wins, and that's going to be best original song and maybe Zoe Saldana. I don't think Zoe Saldana would take the blame for this. Right,
so you're saying
there's a chance that
2 out of the 13 are going to win.
Yeah, basically
the 2 that are the most far away from the main actress, Carla Sofia Garzon. All right, 2. What do you think, Ross? What do you got?
Okay, yeah. I think that it's gonna hurt her, but I think like some of the smaller stuff it could still get in for.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna win the 1, and that's Zoe Saldana. They're not gonna blame her for what happened.
Yeah. So I don't think it'll go completely 0, but it's definitely
going to go 1 for 13.
But it's definitely not going to be a good look. That's for sure.
No.
So with that said, that's a good segue to get into the Oscar nominations. And while you get that ready, Tristan, I will take some of our comments because we got I've never thought of myself as a musician or a magician, I should say, but apparently, Yossi Sufi says, "Hey, Mega Movies magicians, thank you. I am a very magical person, so I appreciate that." And then and then and then also this is a question too from Acres of Movies. It says Wolf, Tristan, Ross, and Dan Skip. Why was Marianne Jean-Baptiste snubbed for Hard Truth, Best Actress Oscar nomination? And why was Mike Lee snubbed for Hard Truth, writing and or directing Oscar nom? I have the perfect answer for you right now. And it is 2 words. Bleecker Street. Bleecker Street is terrible at campaigning. They never campaign their movies. They never push anything. Like, I learned this when Mass didn't get any acting nominations. I was like, how did the best acting of 2021 not get any acting nominations? And it's because Bleecker Street was the owner of Mass, and they did not push that movie at all. And it's the same way with Hard Truth, and the same way with all these other Bleecker Street movies that are super successful. And now The Wedding Banquet just got bought out by Bleecker Street, so you can forget that ever having Oscar chances. So there you go. That's not going to happen, and it's just like, it's crazy. So
I think you got a good valid point there, Wolf. I mean, but also I think, look, do people want to watch a movie about an angry black woman the whole time? Really? Do we really want to watch that?
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it yet. I heard she has a redemption arc in there, though.
Yeah, she's got it's trauma from her past or whatever. But come on. I'm not going to watch this negative, dark movie the whole time, and then at the end, she's redeemed because she has some trauma in her past. Come on. Yeah. I mean, she's good in the movie, and Mike Lee's a good director. But I'll tell you this, a double feature, Secrets and Lies and Hard Truth. You should do Acres of Movies. Do a double feature of them, too. Be a great double feature.
Nice. I didn't do that on. And then also Acres of Movies says that Central Station was overrated. Wow. Okay. I've never heard that.
And then, like, she's asking, it's like, why are we talking about this? You know, like, she's here for the Oscars. She said, I'm thinking, she just won nominee. I'm thinking, this is a big deal, Acres. You don't.
Oh, well, yeah, we don't talk about gossip on this show. That's that's on this channel. That's one of the things I always try to prohibit is we don't talk about, gossip, like this person said this or this person said that. I almost never talk about that on this channel. But this
news we had to talk about
is something that was completely associated with the Oscars and directly affects it, because now her chances and the movie's chances are directly affected because of this news.
Like, yeah, it's not just the one category. Yeah. It's going to ripple through it. Like Amelia Perez is like nearly every major category, so it's gonna shake things up.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, so now we can cover the nominations. Basically, how this is gonna work is we're gonna go through the nominations, just kind of break them down, and I'm gonna go down the ladder here and tell you, and you guys will tell me who you would like. So like what should win, but also who you think will win. Like the one that you putting your bets on, like who you think will win as well. So
everybody reads their own category. We rotate it around. Everybody reads their own category, and then we rotate it in a circle that way. Or you're going to start from the top every time.
Yeah. I mean, we can do it that way. Like if you want, so like Tristan could read actor in a leading role, and then maybe if you want to read like actor in a supporting role, you can. Or we can just do it where it's like where maybe like Tristan reads them or one of us reads them, and then we just keep on going. So like it would be Tristan's turn first, and then the next round it would be like your turn, and then
however you want to do it. I'm just asking.
Let's swap off or something. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we'll start off with I'll go last since I'm the host, and we'll start off with Tristan. Read us actor in a leading role. And
actor in a leading role, you have Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. For me, if I was picking the winners, I'm going Sebastian Stan. He gave a very great performance here. Not like a campy impression, but a genuine performance as a character. For who will win, it's very much, I think, a two-person race here between Brody and Chalamet. I'm going to say that it goes for Adrian Brody. No, I'm changing my vote. I'm saying Chalamet. I'm voting Chalamet. That's my final vote.
Chalamet.
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 Trish, just that you know, like his name is actually Rafe. R-A-F,
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We don't have to just pick on everybody if they get something spelled.
I'm not.
It happens.
It all happens. Although I'll tell you after the stream, but we almost had somebody make a bad slur by reading a name off on this show one time. They had a hard time reading, and they said instead of Corley, they said like Carly, and then they almost said a really bad F word, like a slur. And we had to like correct them and be like, no, don't say that.
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful. But no, you're right about that. Yeah, look, I think as much as I don't want it to happen, I think Adrian Brody is gonna win his second Academy Award. I would absolutely die if Ralph Fiennes or Timothy Chalamet, because I think they both deserve it, and I would rather see somebody get their first Academy Award than have somebody win their second for kind of a negative movie that I wasn't a big fan of. So that's why I would go with either Timothy or Rafe. But I think, unfortunately, I think it's going to be Brody.
Yeah. What about you, Ross?
I actually think the AI thing could hurt him. So I'm going to go with will win is Timothy Chalamet, but should win, I'm going to go with Ralph Fiennes, is because, like I watched it again, a few weeks ago. And then, like, his performance actually held up a lot better. So yeah, will win is Timothy. I think it's his time, and then it should win is Rafe.
And not to go on a tangent, Ross, I heard the AI thing is nothing to see here, like a Star Wars reference. Move along, nothing to see here, kind of thing. So just, I don't know. I'm just saying, I heard. So there you go. So
So my thoughts on this is. So what should win, to me, I personally, if someone was to ask me who is the greatest actor without an Oscar on his mantle, I would say probably Ralph Fiennes to me. Because he just delivers performance after performance after performance. He's never won. The fact that Tommy Lee Jones won for The Fugitive over Ralph Fiennes for Schindler's List, like, get out of here. That's insane. Like, that made no sense to me, and he's been long overdue. So for me, who should win is Ralph Fiennes, but also like a second place should win. Coleman Domingo was fantastic in Sing Sing. Like,
he's going to get another shot next year, though. Wolf, not to interrupt you, I apologize. Yeah. He's going to get another shot next year and or the year after. So keep an eye out for Coleman Domingo in the next couple of years. He's got good roles coming down the pipe.
He's very due.
Oh, yeah. I think definitely there will be a time where he ends up winning the Academy Award, and that'll definitely be a really great celebratory moment. But I'm going to say will win is Timothy Chalamet, and here's the reason why. Because I look at SAG, right? The Brutalist only got one nomination at SAG, and that was for Adrian Brody. Do we really think that SAG is not going to award a Best Actor nomination for a movie that got into the SAG Ensemble category? That is a big deal. And plus, Timothy Chalamet is campaigning everywhere. He's about to host SNL again. He's, he already
hosted it.
He already hosted it then. So yeah, he already hosted SNL. Plus, he is just going out there doing interviews, doing press for A Complete Unknown. I really think that this is going to be Timothy Chalamet's year. And also, in the midst of all the controversy, I know the AI stuff might not be a big deal, but Adrian Brody himself, I don't know why he hasn't even faced the controversy yet for like his allegations that has come out against Adrian Brody, but he hasn't really faced any consequences for those allegations. So I don't know if that's something that would resurface here now that because of Carlos Sofia Gascon's stuff coming out. I don't know if that's something that would resurface and hurt his chances, but we shall see how that goes.
Can I just make one comment on that? What you said? Is Conclave in Best Ensemble, SAG Ensemble?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right. What makes Timothée Chalamet more of a chance to win SAG Best Actor than Ralph Fiennes?
I just think that it feels more like the SAG kind of pick. You know, like SAG goes with like
they've known Ralph for longer than they've known Timothy.
That's true, but they've also given some, out there stuff to SAG, like Amelia Blunt won for A Quiet Place and stuff. So
I know.
So like they have done stuff like that in the past.
All right.
So that's why I'm going with that. But also because of his age and Timothée Chalamet's age, if Ray Fiennes wins at SAG, and there's actually a really good chance that Ray Fiennes could win at BAFTA because he is British. They always will, appeal. Like they'll always go with like a British actor if they can. They went with Cillian Murphy. They went with like all these other people. So like if there's always a British person out there they can go with, they'll go with them. But
you think that SAG would go with the American over the Brit, and then BAFTA would go with the Brit over the American?
That's basically what I'm thinking could happen. And so I think it could go like a 2-horse race then between Ray Fiennes and Timothée Chalamet, basically.
Yeah, but what if Brody wins Critics' Choice?
Man, then this would be a crazy award season, that's for sure. Because it's already so crazy. It's already so crazy where you could have like, Fernando Torres and Demi Moore winning the Globe. Then you could have like Mikey Madison winning Critics' Choice, and then you could have like someone else winning BAFTA for actress. Like you can just keep on going down the ladder until like all the craziness happens there. So like who knows? This is the most unpredictable award season to date. So
yeah, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he says Chalamet, he elevated his skills. He did not Rami Malek the role.
Yeah.
Agree.
And I do want to point out too that he is playing a real person. That is the reason why when we did our final Oscar nomination predictions, that's the reason why we went with Monica Barbaro in A Complete Unknown, because we were like, she is playing Joan Baez. That is a real person. That's what the Academy will always gravitate towards, is like somebody playing a real person. Rami Malek or Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill, or all these other ones like that.
We go down the list of musical biopics of people that have been nominated or won over the years. It's a proven fact that people that are playing real people get wins. We know that.
That's why I think
a more nuanced performance there with Ralph Fiennes. So that's all.
Yeah, but like, that's why I think
a lot longer. That's
I think in a few years though, like Coleman Domingo is playing Nat King Cole. He could win it for that.
Yeah.
And Joe Jackson, the father of Michael Jackson.
Yep. Yeah. So.
And he's like the announcer in Running Man.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's another good point. So.
EDM says Brody went for the pianist because his fellow nominees campaigned him during the voting period. Jack Nicholson and Nick Cage both were hosting screenings at their own homes. Campaigns matter.
That's true. That is very true. And right now, I don't hear as loud of a campaign. That's another reason why I'm going Timothée Chalamet over Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes has done zero campaigning. Literally nothing.
He's working. I think he's working. That's the reason why. I think he's working on something, but it's focus features. Focus features ain't just laying in bed, just taking a nap. They are going out. Trust me. They got 2 movies right now they're working on.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good point. But right now, A Complete Unknown is out in theaters, and it's like rising in the trajectory, and it just got like 8 Oscar nominations, so it's doing really well.
No, it did very
And
well. I think better than people thought it was going to do.
Oh yeah,
I completely know. Like, agree with that. I definitely agree.
I will say one final point against my own vote here is it wasn't very long ago that we saw the young buck Austin Butler coming up with a very great Elvis performance that was very transformative and did the voice and all of that stuff. And he was up against a similar narrative of this comeback role of someone who hadn't really been in the spotlight for a long time, that was having this very transformative, very serious, hard drama performance in The Whale. And we're seeing a similar setup right here. Are they going to go for the young blood that everyone's kind of rooting for, the new guy in town, Timothy? Or are they going to go for Brody, the old guard who's having this comeback narrative? It seems like comeback narratives tend to really, really hit hard at the Oscars, more so than the young ingenue type of thing. That doesn't really happen all that much at the Oscars. They tend to lean more towards like the comeback narrative.
And I will say this real quick before we move on. Look, Paul Newman wins for The Color of Money. Is that the best performance of his career? No. Al Pacino wins for Scent of a Woman. Is that the best performance of his career? The guy never even won for playing Michael Corleone. Ridiculous. Now, Ralph Fiennes,
Leonardo DiCaprio winning for The Revenant. That's definitely not.
So it's. I mean, this. Oh crap! We haven't given Ralph Fiennes an Oscar. It's your time today. Boom! Here you go.
Like, unfortunately, just like his darkest hour. His darkest hour, really, Gary Oldman's best performance of his career.
No. They realized that they didn't give somebody something when they had he didn't even get nominated for the Grand Budapest Hotel. Are you kidding me? That's not a nomination worthy performance for Ralph Fiennes. Give me a break. You know what I mean? So they know they've made mistakes regarding him with Schindler's List, with the Grand Budapest Hotel. So this is their time to reward him.
Yep, with The English Patient. I actually like that movie. Yep.
Yeah,
he was incredible in The English Patient.
He was, and and he's gonna be having a new movie out this year with 28 years later, and so he'll be in the conversation with that movie coming out and all that stuff. So,
all right, let's move on to the next. We'll be here all night. If we don't.
Yeah, we're an hour in and we're at one category.
Actor in a supporting role. Do you want to read this off, Dan, and go down?
All right. Yura Borisov and Nora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce, The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. Look, I don't like the movie, and I'm just not a fan of the movie. I don't like the main character or the character that Kieran Culkin plays. I don't know why people like it or whatever, but he seems to be the guy that's winning from what I'm gathering everything. So it would be a complete shock if somebody else won this thing. I would like to see someone like Edward Norton or Guy Pearce win. Guy Pearce, to be honest, even though I'm not a big fan of The Brutalist, I actually did like Guy Pearce in The Brutalist. But I think it's Kieran Culkin's to lose.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about this, Danny. Like, I forgot to DM you. I just don't know where it's about the category. What do you think about what Jeff Snyder said? He said Kieran Culkin's actually 5th now. The film that you're nominated for Best Picture.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. If that's the case, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. I want to see someone new win. I'm sick of this 2-time winners. I want to see new winners. Guy Pearce has been doing this work for a long time. How about him?
Overdue.
And Al Fiennes getting Oscars the same year? How awesome would that be, right?
And Kieran Culkin also has never won an Oscar. So, but yeah.
No, but he's coming off of an Emmy, and he's.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I believe he's one thing away from an EGOT or something. Somebody said something where he's got a Tony role coming up or something on the stage he's working on. That he's starting to work on an EGOT or something. Either an Oscar would be the last thing he needed, or is that somebody else? I'm getting confused. I don't know for sure. I could be confused.
Yeah, I do want to speak on the fact real quick. I don't know the exact statistics, but apparently it is extremely rare for an actor to win in Best Supporting Actor without their movie being in Best Picture.
There you go.
Apparently that is something that is extremely rare in the Academy.
There you go.
And you've seen it happen in other categories, like Brendan Fraser winning for The Whale, stuff like that, where it was, you know, in leading actor or stuff like that. But in supporting actor, apparently, it's almost always a Best Picture nominee that will end up taking the award. So that's one
I got a
thing.
theory for you, Wolf.
That's one thing to consider here. But I don't know if Kieran Culkin's he's got that, like, I don't know if you watched his NBR speech where he was just literally the whole NBR speech was him just ranting over bathroom attendants and people were like laughing and having a ball of that. And it was like something where it's like he's just that kind of energetic personality that's like people are loving. Maybe he can overcome that and win it. Here's my theory though. First off, who I think should win, I finally got around to watching The Apprentice. Jeremy Strong fucking made me cry in his final scene. Holy shit, was that a performance? What a phenomenal performance. That was that was the best supporting performance I've seen this year. Like, it is phenomenal. Was Jeremy Strong. It was so good. I feel like he should win. But the one that I think has a chance to upset here, and I want to throw this name out here because he's also someone who's been nominated now 4 times and has never won. I honestly am thinking an upset could be Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, because A Complete Unknown, again, is rising. Like I've said, it's rising in terms of nominations, how many people are seeing it. Like, it overperformed at the Oscars. A lot of people didn't predict like costume design and other stuff like that. Like, it overperformed at the Oscars. And on top of that, it's still in theaters. People are still able to see it. It's a really good movie, a really great performance. He's the heart of the movie. I think there's a really good shot here that Edward Norton wins for A Complete Unknown. And I think that would still fall in line with a film that's nominated in Best Picture and a supporting actor wins, and he's also got that overdue narrative. I think that is a huge possibility.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments in the chat agreeing with you on Edward Norton. Yasti says Edward Norton is an amazing. Pete Seeger, again, breathtaking. He started crying at the moment he started singing this line on the court stairs at the beginning of the movie.
See? It applies the emotion. It has that.
EDM also says Ed Norton is a veteran of the category. Could be a Downey Jr. bad boy, now becomes a team player. He also brings up that these late stage award shows are very important. Maybe Edward Norton's going to start playing the awards game and be showing up at these shows and kind of like shaking the hands, kissing the babies, and getting his face out there.
Yeah.
No, those are good points, valid points. The thing too is Edward Norton gets robbed from basically the performance of his career in Primal Fear, loses to Cuba Gooding Jr. for Show Me the Money. I mean, stupid catchphrase, ends up winning the guy an Oscar, and it should have been Edward Norton for Primal Fear because that's one of the great performances of all time, if you ask me. And so it's another narrative where the guy doesn't win for the movie he should have won for, but he could end up getting this one because it's overdue narrative. Guy Pearce, though, has got an overdue narrative. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough.
I think the only thing holding back Guy Pearce is one, the villain, the fact that I'm not going to say the scene that happens, but you've seen the film, you know what happens. That's really going to make you not like the character. And it's also a situation where Edward Norton has a SAG nomination and a BAFTA nom. So he's got the 2 there, while only Guy Pearce has the BAFTA nom to really defend where he's at in terms of the award, BAFTA and Critics' Choice. That's all he really has as far as the big other nominations. So with that, I think that Edward Norton, he's gotten in literally everywhere. He's gotten Golden Globes, he's gotten Critics' Choice, he's gotten SAG, and he's gotten BAFTA, and that is a very big deal. So I think Edward Norton's just a little stronger than Guy Pearce because of that.
All right, there you go. That's good. That was good info.
Yeah. So we can move on to actress in a leading role. And Ross, you want to read these ones out?
Yeah, Cynthia Erivo, Wicked, Carlos Sofia Gascon, and Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison and Honora, Demi Moore, The Substance, and Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here.
We just
And,
block this one out right now. You know, it's
yeah, block that one out now. But what are your? Yeah, you're not going to put an exclamation mark this time at the end of Amelia Perez, or
I just realized something about this. Yeah. I want to talk about this real quick. Okay, yeah. How many times has the all five never won before? An actress.
But one's been nominated, and that's Cynthia Erivo for Harriet.
Yeah, I know. But yeah.
For song and for Best Actress. So she's the only one that's been nominated. The other four haven't.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
I said one, I meant those. Yeah, but yeah, you know. Okay, I'm gonna go with like Demi Moore. Demi Moore should win, and then probably will win. You know, but Mikey Madison or Fernanda Torres, you know, don't be surprised if they do, because Carlos Garcia, Gascon, I would have said maybe before today.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo. I'll give my answers really quick too, because I might have said Carlos Gascon to win before like the last 24 hours, but after the last 24 hours, I think Fernanda Torres is pulling this one off. I think she will win. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't say that she should win, but I think she will win. Of the ones that I have seen, I probably would rather see. I'd rather see Cynthia Erivo take this one home, because she is such an important part of that movie. She sings and she is the heart of that movie. And so many times they'll cast as like a stunt celebrity in a musical, and then they can't sing, and then they're terrible. You know, like so many musicals, even within 2024, did like a stunt celebrity casting over an actual performer. So I think that they cast an actual talented singer, and I think she is great in the movie. So I'd love to see her win, but I think Torres is going to take it, and I think it's going to be one of those big, shocking upsets that she doesn't show up really anywhere else, and then she ends up, you know, coming in the last second, and all of a sudden the movie is doing great. So I think she's going to win. I think the narrative is very much in her favor. There's like nothing to go against her really. Like she has a couple of like questionable things, you know, but there's not like, you know, she's not tweeting about Hitler. So I think she's good to go.
Oh yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Dan?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I would absolutely love. I'd be jumping for joy if Cynthia Erivo could win an Oscar for this. I think she's phenomenal, and I said it all along. I thought she should have won. She should have been nominated and win for Best Actress. I just think in this group, in the movie she's in and stuff, I'm just worried that possibly that Mikey Madison has kind of moved up the ranks a little bit, and they might actually want to go with the young ingenue and have this be her breakout, because Best Actress has had the young ingenue pull off the win in the past, and this would be their breakout role for. Whereas male actor, they forget to give certain people, so they give it to them for the wrong role and stuff like that. Like Denzel Washington didn't win for Malcolm X. He ends up winning for Training Day. You know, stuff like that. I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion this could go to Mikey Madison, but I would jump for joy if it was Cynthia Erivo. But also, all these categories are so hard to bring. Demi Moore has just been rising up the ranks. If you look at all the nominations the Substance got, it's a big sign that she could pull off the way overdue narrative. I mean, way overdue narrative.
Well,
I don't see Fernanda Torres winning there. With the entire body of the Academy, or not just the acting branch, the entire body of the Academy aren't going to go for Fernanda Torres. I just don't think she's got it. But I could be completely wrong.
Speaking of way overdue, or speaking of way, I think people are throwing Demi Moore's Golden Globes win way out of proportion. Here's the thing. She's literally only had one mainstream award win. For all we know, Critics' Choice comes out and it goes to someone else entirely.
It's probably going to go to Mikey Madison. I would not be surprised, Wolf.
Yeah. And then maybe BAFTA comes out and goes to someone else entirely. You know, like everyone has seen Demi Moore win the Golden Globe now.
BAFTA would go to Cynthia Erivo. She's British.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where she just wins the Globe, and now everyone's like, "Oh, Demi Moore's gonna win the Oscar." And
I want to go off again, and I'm not trying to interrupt what you're saying, but I want to tell you this: after the push that Fernanda Torres got from the BAFTAs, and to where that movie not only got her into Best Actress, it got the film into Best Picture. You can't not take these nominations for the substance seriously, and you can't not take the wins for both Demi Moore and Fernanda Torres at the Globes now serious. They are more of a centrist, a more of a they know what they're doing. This group of Globes is a much more knowledgeable, critical thinking body now. Before it was like, who can we nominate to show up for our party? Not anymore. There's a certain group of people that pushed into, like I said, certain movies. So you have to take the Globes more serious now after the 2 years of this body, Wolf. And I'm not trying to knock your opinion of what you're saying. I'm not. I just think you have to kind of look at what they did. This is a different Globes now.
No, and I agree. This is different Globes. And if she wins SAG, then I'll definitely say, all right, it's over. She's probably going to take it. But here's the thing. This awards race is such a different awards race than what we've seen lately. And so I think that this is something where a major upset surprise could happen.
Yep.
And you could have the first ever. It would be the first ever, because I looked at the statistics of the first ever actress that was not nominated for a SAG nomination win the Oscar for Best Actress. You could have that with how crazy the awards race is going.
Absolutely.
And just how insane things are going right now.
Can I go off of what you just said real quick? One more thing.
Yeah.
If Cynthia wins SAG, BAFTA, who wins the Oscar for Best Actress?
I mean, you would then say probably Cynthia, but there could still be a chance that maybe Demi Moore upset still at the Oscars or something like that. It's such an unpredictable award race.
A winner of SAG and BAFTA would lose to Demi Moore for the Academy Award.
Probably not. I mean,
I'm just wondering. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just wondering
if it's SAG and BAFTA, because especially BAFTA is like has shown, in my opinion, BAFTA has shown itself as the stronger precursor than SAG, honestly, because BAFTA, and the reason I say that is look at past years. Emma Stone wins for BAFTA. She ends up winning Best Actress. Look, Frances McDormand won for Nomadland at the BAFTAs. She ends up winning Best Actress at the Oscars. It is such a big indicator of who wins. Olivia Colman won the everyone thought Glenn Close was going to win because she won the SAG, she won the Golden Globe, she won all this stuff. But then Olivia Colman wins the BAFTA, then wins the Oscar. So it's like a BAFTA has been
lately. They've been
massive.
They've
been
a
precursor lately.
They've been a good precursor.
Yeah.
But the one thing you can never forget when it comes to SAG is it's the largest voting body in the entire Academy Awards, the actors branch. You can never forget that, Wolf. That's a lot of votes.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and then also, not really like bring up to me more though. I remember, I was watching, Alonso Dorade kind of made fun of her, but it was funny is because, during the Golden Globes, when she says, I was never known as a serious actress. I was not, always known as a popcorn actress. And you know what he said, though? He says, you were in the Scarlet Letter. Let's be real.
Yeah, but no, what I think should win, and I'm going to stick by my guns here, and I'm going to make the crazy predictions. What I think should win, I'm going to do the Scott Mance dance for Tom Cruise that he did on FYC and do this for Fernanda Torres. But I think she should win. And then I think the actual will win is also going to be Fernanda Torres. I think that if you literally look at the comments, every single, after the fact, after they're uploaded, right after all of our videos have been uploaded onto YouTube, every single comment, and I mean every single one on there has been Fernanda Torres Brazilian flag emoji, Fernanda Torres Brazilian flag emoji. Like everything has been celebrating this girl. I've not seen this level of like hype for an actress in years.
And the other thing too is real quick,
crazy.
I apologize.
No,
the percentage of voters in the Golden Globes is much smaller considering the percentage of voters in SAG and the Academy Awards and BAFTA.
Sure.
I mean, the voters are way higher. Let's put it that way. So a 25% Brazilian contingent in the Golden Globes can push somebody to a win. But 25% is this like 25 voters or 25, 30 voters in a 300-person body of voters is a lot. 30 voters in 10,000 isn't a lot. Or 20,000 isn't a lot. Go look at the number of BAFTA voters. I know they have the juries, but go look at the members of SAG. How many members of SAG?
My very very last thought though is if this drama with Carla is a huge thing, people will see her comment that she made about Fernanda, and then those people will start watching the screeners for I'm Still Here. They'll start watching the performance, and it'll start really helping Fernanda Torres's chances because of what Carla said about Fernanda and about the people that work with her and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of publicity can go and favor somebody like that. So that's just one thing to throw out as a little last point there. But we can move on to actress in a supporting role, where the nominees are Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. When we did our predictions, we were almost 5 for 5 here. I mean, our personal, whatever we had personally may have varied compared to our like overall predictions, but our overall predictions, we had Jamie Lee Curtis still in there because the fact that she got in for BAFTA and SAG, yet she misses. I mean, hey, that's a BAFTA and SAG nom that she ended up, not being able to make the Oscars there. And that was just insane. But Monica Barbaro, I had her in, and I'm glad I predicted that. She was definitely one of my she was like my fifth slot that I predicted. And honestly, if I'm going with a should win, honestly, I think I would give it to Monica. I think that she honestly really, to me, almost stole the show in that movie. Like, she really was good, had some amazing standout scenes in there, and she sounded exactly like Joan Baez. The fact that she was able to sing just like her and everything was like really crazy good. And yeah, it was just really excellent. As someone who loves folk music, I loved her performance in there. But I will also give Felicity Jones the benefit of the doubt that she had one really great scene. I think though she only had one really great scene, which was like the very end. If y'all know what I'm talking about, it's like that ending scene. That was like her scene, and I was like, oh shit, okay, that's good. That kind of stuff. But like the whole rest of the movie that she's in, I wasn't really vibing with her performance. But
I was like, during that one scene even before, I remember like the screaming scene.
Yeah, that scene was okay. But yeah, Monica Barbaro really stole the show for me. So I would say she should win, but I think will win. Honestly, I'm like a weird mix here because before the controversy hit with Carla, I easily would have said Zoe. But now with it, like if Hollywood just starts to hate on Amelia Perez in general, they might go with Ariana Grande. Like that is now an actual option here. And so for me, I think I'm gonna say will win is gonna be Ariana Grande. I think that she's gonna now. I think she has a position to win at the SAG. I think Zoe will win at. I think she's gonna win at Critics' Choice. I think Ariana's gonna win at SAG, and then I think Zoe's gonna win at BAFTA, and then the Oscars, like who it's gonna go down to, and I think it'll be. Now I think it'll be Ariana. So I'm gonna say Ariana Grande. I think it's gonna be something that's kind of surprising there, and people are, I think it's going to go to Zoe, but yeah, that's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, I'm on similar mindset because when you want to get, you think if Amelia Perez drama is going to hurt Zoe Saldana, who is going to be the one that comes in, and takes it? I don't think it's Isabella Rossellini. She's got like one or two scenes similar to Felicity Jones where she really stands out. She's good in the movie, but she doesn't really like, she's not there present throughout the entirety of the movie in the way that Ariana Grande is and Monica Barbaro is, but it's tough. I think should win. I'm going to also go Monica Barbaro. You guys didn't listen to me when I said she was going to make it in. You guys said, oh, no, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. And I said, oh, the complete unknown train is coming and she's going to be on it. And I think it's possible that she sneaks in and becomes like the front runner, but I don't really think that's going to happen. I think Zoe's going to pull this one out, honestly. Now that we've been talking through this, I think Zoe Saldana, there's a lot of months between now and the Oscars, and if she's able to in some way distance herself from what was said, it's going to be very important how the team at Amelia Perez responds to all of this over the next couple of days, because if they handle it well, I think they'll stick around, but if they don't, I don't know. And I think Zoe Saldana has enough of a following in Hollywood to pull it off. She's been, leading Hollywood for so many years. She has more of an overdue narrative than anybody else, and we don't really talk about the fact that she does, like the fact that Zoe Saldana is the highest paid actress in Hollywood, and she has been for so many years, and she's been doing the work, leading all these franchises, making Hollywood lots and lots and lots of money, but she hasn't been given that recognition yet. And I think now is her chance to get that recognition. And that's going to outshine more than the Amelia Perez drama does. So I think she has it.
All right. What are your thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to hook my wagon to what Tristan said. And I think, look, they're going to attribute this as Zoe Saldana had nothing to do with what Carla Sofia Gascon did. And that she's been doing this kind of work, great work for years and years. And she gives the performance of the movie more so, than the others, if you ask. And she's technically the lead, but, category fraud, whatever. But if anybody's going to pull off the upset here, I think Wolf, you're right on the right track, and that's Ariana Grande. That, no pun intended, popular moment is still a moment that she's not going to forget, and that's a moment that people remember. It's about it having a particular moment in a movie. People are going to remember that popular song and those popular moments, and that Defying Gravity opposite Cynthia Erivo, I think. She really did own that role. So, but I think should be Zoe. But if there's an upset, oh my, I think Ariana could sneak in there and get it.
I think EDM brings up an interesting point while we're sitting here, that if Zoe wins BAFTA and Gomez is nominated, she wins the Oscar. But they also mentioned that Rossellini has a strong shot if she reminds everyone of her mom and David Lynch. I've been seeing a lot of clips of Rossellini talking about Lynch going viral and things like that. So even if she's not actively campaigning, it's like the internet algorithm is campaigning for her in a way. Like, she's going viral without even having to do anything. So I'm wondering if like her name being in the conversation slightly might put her on the radar of people.
I saw her on Jimmy Fallon. She was great on Jimmy Fallon.
I've never seen, as far as recently, I've never seen this much admiration for someone who passed away. Like everyone, literally everyone, and their uncles and their grandmothers and their cousins are talking about David Lynch and what happened there, like, and how he, like, what the tragic event that happened where he passed away. So Isabella Rossellini could surprise here just because of the David Lynch conversation, you know.
And we remember Judi Dench won for 8 minutes of screen time.
That's true. That's very true. So that is a shot. But Ross, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I think that I'm feeling like Ariana Grande will win somehow, but like Zoe Saldana has a chance. But yeah, but I actually think that Felicity Jones should win only because like she's also overdue. Like she's a previous Oscar nominee, and then like she actually has I think like she's actually very good in The Brutalist. It's really one of my favorite parts. So yeah, but I think that Ariana Grande somehow, I have a feeling she will win. If not for this, then that rumored she's rumored to play Audrey Hepburn. So but yeah.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you piqued my curiosity, Ross.
Yeah.
I can
it's
see
like,
that.
It's like the Leonardo DiCaprio line of, "You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention." It's like, okay. Yeah. So yeah, moving on to animated feature film. If you want to read this, Tristan.
This should be one we can get through pretty quick.
Very fast.
I don't know. There's, I guess, a question, of who's gonna win, but we'll see. I guess animated feature. We got Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. Of these picks, should win. I'm gonna say Flow, a very experimental take on animation, and will win. I'm also going to say Flow. I think Flow is going to take it. The fact that it showed up in another category unexpectedly, of course, Wild Robot also did too, which kind of makes it a stiffer competition. But I think more people are talking about Flow, and I think the creativity of the animation in Flow is going to be what pushes it. I think just the narrative of animation as a universal language. You don't need any dialogue to tell your story through visuals, and I think Flow has that. And they're going to be pounding money into Wild Robot the next couple of months to try and get that spot, but I think it's going for Flow.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I think Universal is a juggernaut, and they have a marketing campaign ready to go for the Wild Robot. And I might add, Wild Robot has been nominated for 3 Academy Awards, where Flow was nominated for 2. Best Score and Best Sound, I believe, Wild Robot is in, and Best Animated Feature. It's still baffling why it didn't get into Best Song. I still don't understand that, but that's another conversation for another time. I got should win the Wild Robot, will win the Wild Robot.
Okay. Ross, what are you?
Me? I'm going to say this though, Dan. Yeah, Wild Robot has more nominations, but Flow has more key nominations because it got nominated in international feature too, and then also too. I know. Yep. So I'm going to go with the 2024 Movie Hero Network Tournament Champion winner, Flow.
That's a bunch of baloney. I don't want to get into that, but that's a bunch of baloney. 3 nominations to 2. How about Sound, Score, and Best Animated Feature?
Here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. Sound, I feel like, is a much lesser nomination than international feature. International feature is almost essentially another Best Picture, but for international films. That's
but he ain't gonna win.
He
ain't gonna win.
I know, but first off, I told you so, Dan. Remember on your show on Real Consideration, I have been saying it doesn't matter if it is wordless. The impact of Flow is the fact that it can move you to tears, full-on ugly crying without any words. That is what is the power.
I watched it. I didn't cry. I cried at Wild Robot.
I cried at Flow more than I cried at Wild Robot.
I cried at the Wild Robot more, and I didn't cry a single drop of tears at Flow.
Well, I mean, to each their own, but Flow really had me crying and really had me tearing up, and it's been having a lot of people that I've talked to doing the same thing, and that is just showing the power of animation. Robot Dreams got in because of the fact it was wordless and it still was impactful and still was able to impact people in the animated category.
Did it win? Did it win?
No, but the fact Robot Dreams was nominated was huge because it got in like nowhere else pretty much at that for that movie.
Yeah, but it had who behind it?
Neon. Yeah, that's true.
We've got to mention too that Wild Robot did miss a category it was talked about getting into, the song category that it was supposed to get in. Everyone was saying it's going to get in, and then it misses. I think that shows that the Academy likes Wild Robot, but they're not going to like over deliver for Wild Robot. They gave it what they thought it was going to get, but
I think because
it missed where it was supposed to get in.
I think people misread the song category.
Yeah.
The fact that you got to give the Diane Warren nomination. That's it. The Amelia Perez movie before the controversy, it was 2. It was always going to get 2 because of the 2 songs. And then the Elton John, I think people misread the fact that he's such a beloved previous winner, Academy Plus musician, and they've given a Doc song. They've given Doc song nominations in the past, and so I think it just ended up being not enough room for the Wild Robot song is what happened. But because people misjudged the category, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 6. If it was 6 nominees, it would have been in there. But I'm not trying to knock what you're saying. I just think if you look at that movie and you look at Flow, it doesn't tell me that the Flow is any better animation than the animation of Wild Robot, which I think is phenomenal. I mean, gorgeous.
Here's 2 arguments, and these are my final 2 closing arguments I want to make here for you. Is with the Wild Robots animation, pretty much animated voters who vote can look at it and say, oh, well, the movie that we nominated that one year, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, this is basically the same animation as that. While with Flow, that's a different kind of animation. Like, we've not really seen that style of animation that much. Like, it's a very interesting stylistic animation that they go with in Flow. While with the Wild Robot, we saw that exact same animation style in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you. But this is a category that the entire Academy is going to vote on this category. Are you saying that the entire Academy body, who probably has a bunch of kids, a lot of them will have kids, are going to watch, hey, Billy and Bobby and Susie and whoever, sit down and watch Flow that doesn't have any words. Or it's got amazing words, amazing animations, song, score, great voiceover work. Really?
I'm going off of the Academy voters who voted Parasite for Best Picture, the Academy voters who nominated Drive My Car for Best Picture, the Academy voters who nominated all these kind of foreign international movies are going to be the ones to watch Flow and award Flow. And here's my last point I want to make. And I know this is comparing Miyazaki, who is a whole nother game entirely, but I still want to make the point that when you compare Boy and the Heron to Across the Spider-Verse came out in like July, right? And Boy and the Heron
and the previous one already won an Academy Award, I might add. Previous one won the Academy
That's
Award.
True. But also Boy and the Heron came out in like November, which is like that sweet spot for
December
the
8th.
December 8th.
Went wide December 8th.
Even more perfect. That's like the perfect sweet spot for the Academy Awards, you know?
And the dubbed version had that amazing cast of like Florence Pugh and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
When they did that dubbed version for American audiences, I think that's what put it over the top.
But the thing is that I want to point out is that Flow had a December release date, while the Wild Robot came out in that like early September,
late September, early October.
Yeah, that kind of phase. So like Flow was like more in the conversation around all this time of voting and everything like that. So it's had more eyes on it recently than the Wild Robot did. When the Wild Robot came out, it had a lot of eyes on it. People were watching it like crazy and were, talking about it. But then Flow came out in December, and that was like the perfect sweet spot. So I'm just saying. And Flo has also won the Golden Globe. Guess what else won the Golden Globe? The Boy and the Heron.
Voting body. Much smaller body.
I know, but an international voting body, just like the Oscars have grown very international. So I just want to throw that out there. So
do you guys think Memoir of a Snail has a shot?
Oh, yeah.
ADM's asking if Memoir of a Snail could sneak in.
No.
Shot?
No, I would be okay if Memoir of a Snail ended up winning. Honestly, this is one of the best animated categories I've seen in quite some time.
Well, it's the most obvious 5. I've known this 5 since October.
Well, no, same. I've known this 5, but I'm saying like all like quality wise though, all 5 of these
great films, all kinds of
really great category here.
Films. Oh yeah.
Yeah, all phenomenal animation. No, I think Wolf. I don't want to seem like I'm just knocking what you're saying. If you look at all the things involved in this, it's a no-brainer that the Wild Robot's going to win the Academy Award. It's just like everything's going in its favor. It's absolute juggernaut in every possible way you could think of. I don't think they're going to go for the upset 2 years in a row.
ADM says they're clarifying that they didn't mean for Memoir of a Snail to win, but they mean it might let's like siphon off some votes from Flow and give it to Wild Robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day we can agree it's definitely a 2-horse race between Flow and the Wild Robot. At the end,
it'll be a fun one to watch that night because both of them are great movies. So I'm not really going to be sad if either one wins. They're both among the best movies of the year.
Nominees.
Both of them are in my top 15 of the year. So if Flo or the Wild Robot wins, I'll be completely okay with that.
I need the Wild Robot to win, so my predictions are good. I need to get as many predicted right.
Are we gonna skip past the short film, or do you think we should make?
Yeah, let's skip past the short.
I haven't seen any of them.
Once we do our final win predictions, and I would have actually seen the shorts by then, we can like talk about those. But
I'll get a screener of all 15 of them. I haven't gotten it yet though.
Oh, nice. All right. But yeah, cinematography. We can move on to that. I think it's you for cinematography.
All right. The Brutalist. Lol Crawley, Dune Part 2, Greg Fraser, Amelia Perez, Carl Guillaume, Maria, Ed Lachman, Nosferatu, Darren Blasky. Oh my God, what an amazing category this is. Wow. Look at this.
Really is a good category.
And I'll tell you right now, I am so happy to see Ed Lachman in here. I thought the cinematography in Maria was amazing. How this is its only nomination is ridiculous. Ridiculous. But God, I absolutely love the cinematography in Nosferatu, that nighttime sky with the hand going or the hand coming through the thing. Oh my God, how he's able to capture the night sky so well, and the color. Oh God, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Greg Fraser has already won for this very Dune Part 1. So if he wins, it would be both Dune movies for Greg Fraser. Oh my God, should win. Jaron Blasky will win. I think. I'm saying Jaron Blasky.
Ooh, interesting.
All right. Who do you think?
I'll give mine next. Maria, I would love to see you win. What a beautiful, beautiful movie. I'm really happy it made it in here because people are doubting it all year. But once you watch it, there's just like no doubt at all that it's getting in for this category. Nosferatu is also such a gorgeous movie. And the visuals of that movie are like the whole movie at parts, and like the sequence of like the horseless carriage towards the beginning, like you're really getting that gothic look to it, you know. But for me, I think Greg Fraser is going to double up here. I think he's going to take it home for Dune Part 2. And you know, if you walk away from anything about Dune, it's the visuals, it's the, you know, the shot of like the people jumping through the sky at the beginning, and all of those stunning moments that are captured by Greg Fraser so beautifully here. He brings that world to life, and I think Dune's going to underperform in a lot of ways compared to what people think it's going to do, but I think this is going to be one that it gets.
I would be disappointed if Dune 2 won cinematography, because I love Greg Fraser. He got robbed for the Batman.
Same. What about you, Ross? What do you think?
Okay, I think actually will win is Lowell Crawley, you know, because like, you know, like it actually like gives the throwback feel, you know, like perfectly. But should win is actually Jaron Black for like Nosferatu. That cinematography was amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of lean the same way. The Brutalist, I think it's just the fact it's in VistaVision and, you know, that whole thing. Like, I think that already is just, you know, they're doing 70 millimeter screenings, they're doing all this kind of stuff. I think that's really gonna help it to win this category. And so I think that the Brutalist will win. But for me, yeah, it's either between Nosferatu or Dune Part 2. Like, one of those ones I think definitely could take it. Although I would love for Maria to win this. I think Maria might be the best. I think Maria actually has the best cinematography in this category, personally, in my opinion. So I think that one should probably win the most, but all these are really good. The one I'm really sad did not make the list is, especially considering it was in Adapted Screenplay and Best Picture, was the best cinematography of the year, in my opinion, Nickel Boys. I'm very surprised that
yeah, like, and then like, do you know which one though? Okay, I hated the movie, but the cinematography I thought was amazing. Was the Kevin Costner movie Horizon? That cinematography was amazing, though. Not a great movie, but the cinematography was great.
Yeah. In hindsight, right, Wolf, you would take out Amelia Perez, obviously, right, and put in.
Oh yeah.
Right, okay. In hindsight,
Nickel
right?
Boys. Yeah, it's like why? Like I look at this list and I'm like, okay, 4 of these are incredible, and then I'm like, what is Amelia Perez doing here? That's like kind of my that's awful, like the
awful cinematography. I don't understand it.
That's like the lineup that I'm looking here. I'm like, I would have, if you would have taken out Amelia Perez and put in Nickel Boys, you honestly might have had the greatest lineup for cinematography in the history of the Oscars. Like, it would have been that good if you would have taken out Amelia Perez and put in Nickel Boys. Like, it would have been insane.
Haters all around.
But yeah, it's but yeah, I guess I'm gonna go with Brutalist will win, and then Maria should win, in my opinion. But yeah. And then now on to costume design. Ross, you can read these ones.
A Complete Unknown, Ariane Phillips, Conclave, Lissy Christel, Gladiator 2, Jenny Yates and Dave Crossman, Nosferatu, Linda Muir, and Wicked, Paul Taswell. And I think will win is Wicked, but should win is Conclave or Complete Unknown.
Yeah, I agree. I know at one point, Tristan, you were saying how if anything could be Irishman, that was the comparison we were making of like a film that goes like so many nominations, like 10, and then wins nothing. I remember you early in the season were saying Wicked could potentially be that. But honestly, I feel if anything is gonna win these like costume and production design kind of stuff, I honestly feel it's going to be Wicked. I feel like that is like its strongest bet is in these categories. So for me, I think will win is Wicked. Honestly, though, I think should win might be like Nosferatu. That costuming was like really, really good. It's like a toss up between that and Wicked for me. It's like should win, but yeah, either one of those I'd be completely happy with winning. So that's my pick. But what about you, Tristan?
For me, I think Wicked is going to win this one. I think it just has a lot of showy costumes. Every single character has very, very detailed costumes. You can see the featurettes playing in your head about all the different efforts that went into different very specific details. You know, like Lord of the Rings always gets famous for they had the writing on the inside of the armor just for pure authenticity's sake. And I'm sure Wicked has stuff like that where it's the embroidery on, this one person's jacket is so important to this or that. And I think Wicked has the win. As far as what should win, it's probably Nosferatu for me. I appreciate that Conclave has very deliberate costume design and how much the costumes differentiate the characters' personalities from each other. But I just think it's a slightly too on the nose comparatively to Nosferatu, which has so much detail and so much period authenticity and brings so much of the characters to life. And you can see the decay of his costume is so tight and put together at the beginning of the movie. Nicholas Holt's character, and then by the time the movie goes along, his costume is falling apart and he's bathed in sweat, and you get the decay of that character through the costume design. So I think Nosferatu should win, but I'm feeling Wicked for the win here.
Yeah, I also got Paul Tazewell for Wicked. Those costumes are incredible, especially Glinda's costumes. Some of the teachers' costumes, costumes are fantastic. But I'll be honest, I mean, it's the only nomination for Gladiator 2. But if you look at the robes and some of the things that Denzel Washington wears, some of the things that the two emperors wear, and some of that kind of stuff, I'll tell you what, Gladiator's got some very, very, very impressive costumes. But I think Wicked is going to win.
Malcolm joins us, friend of the show. He lets us know that he also has Wicked winning for costumes. So a lot of us are believing in Wicked tonight, at least in this category.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
EDM, though, not so much apprehensive at predicting Wicked in costume production design because it's part one. That part one thing I feel like has got to start dying, especially after Dune Part 2 did so poorly. I feel like we point to Lord of the Rings as the only example of this ever happening, and that was 20 years ago. But we've got to start realizing that's not really a trend anymore.
But even then, though, take a look at Lord of the Rings, right? I feel like that argument is out of the question because if you look at Lord of the Rings, right, Fellowship of the Ring got several nominations. Two Towers actually got very few nominations. It got maybe 4 total. It was very few. And then Return of the King ended up getting the 11 nominations and winning all the things it won, which was and that was the third movie. So in the case of Dune or something, they could be waiting till the third movie. It's one of those things where the sequels, the in-betweens, don't actually do that well. So
yeah, I understand, but I also feel like we can't. At what point are we going to be the next one though? The next one, Dune 5 though, that's going to be the one where they really give the this is Dune Part 2. This is the finale of Dune. This is the end of Dune. This is the end of the book. The story is over. There's a sequel to the book, but this is the end of Dune, and I don't think we're getting off topic, but I do feel like Dune Part 2 underperforming to me kind of kills that whole idea of but the sequels are going to be the ones where they win. Okay, we'll see when that happens again, Yeah.
You got to judge the movie itself that's you're dealing with right now. And the fact of the matter is Dune 2 didn't get a lot of nominations. It came out in March. People forgot about it. People moved on. Let's call a spade as a spade. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Wicked, I think the marketing campaign on Wicked is ridiculously good. They knew what they had. They were giving out clips. They were giving out featurettes to all press. I'm telling you, my publicist for Universal was sending me stuff left and right. They wanted us to love this movie and see every aspect of the making of this movie. They know the second half is dark. It is not a marketing bonanza that the first half was going to be. So they know they have to get what they can get out of this part of Wicked because they know the second half is a darker film. Could it win some awards or get nominated? Sure. But they put all their chips in the middle of the table with this part, Wicked Part 1. And I think that was the right move for Universal.
Exactly, I agree. What are your thoughts on this category, Ross?
Remember, I did the first one.
Oh, yeah,
You
you
went
did
first.
this right.
So
Yeah,
let's
you were the
move on to
first. I heard
directing.
that. Yeah,
A big one here.
directing. All right, so the nominees are Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbett for the Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Amelia Perez for Jacques Audiard, and Corley Farge for The Substance. All right. First off, I want to talk about the snubs here. All right. How in the hell do you and I want to preface this by saying I actually am more of a fan of A Complete Unknown than like some of the people on this panel tonight. Like I really like that movie a lot. But how in the hell do you think that that is a better directed movie than Dune Part 2, than Conclave, and Nickel Boys? How do you think that that is a better directed movie than those? I don't get that. That is something that is just like a weird pick. I just did not think was. I thought that was going to be a DGA only kind of thing. I thought he was going to be like the Top Gun Maverick director who ended up getting Joseph Kosinski. I thought that was going to be a Joseph Kosinski thing, or he gets in for DGA but doesn't get in for the Oscar. But he did get in here, and that completely surprised me. And then also Jacques Audiard being here is just another level stupid as well over those picks I mentioned. I don't know what the Academy was thinking, but I think for me, will win. I think at this point, Brady Corbett is just too strong. I think he's going to definitely take this category. But should win I think that The Substance still might be the best directed movie of the year, because that is a movie that could have gone so wrong. That movie could have backfired easily. But Corley Farge found a way to just make that movie work and to make it such a poignant and powerful movie while also being grotesque and all this stuff. It's like she found a way to balance it all. So for me, should win is Corley Farge, but will win is Brady Corbett. What do you think, Tristan?
Look, I'm going to take a victory lap for half a second because I was the only one on this show to tell you guys that not only was Edward Berger missing, that James Mangold was going to make it in. So, look, I got 5 for 5 on this category. I don't know why you guys are so upset about, but yeah. I'm also, Amelia Perez, it would be fun to see this one win in this category, to be honest. It would be like the most chaotic movie you could possibly make outside of lead actress, but like that movie is a wild ride, and Jacques Audiard's weird brain is like the only thing that keeps that thing together. So I kind of feel like it deserves a slot in here, but I'm the one who defends that movie. But for me, who should win is going to be Corley Farge. I think that movie, like Wolf said, could have so easily gotten lost in the sauce and been like so ridiculous, but her ideas and her themes and her inspirations, you can see, a lot of what inspired her from David Lynch and Cronenberg and Kubrick are very like on the surface here. She's not afraid to like show tribute to her inspirations and let that personality show. So I think she should win here. I think she has a shot to sneak in for the win, but I think it's going to be Brady Corbett. I don't know how you're supposed to say his name, but he's probably going to win. He's got the narrative of like, oh, I revived this old stock and I, made this overly long 3.5-hour movie. And he has like this back to basics kind of narrative to himself. James Mangold kind of has that, but I think the movie is just like not nearly as showy as the rest of these movies here. And he very clearly was the last pick, like he snuck into this list. He's not going to win. And I think it's going to be Brutalist here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the Brutalist as well. Why all of a sudden they think that this guy deserves to be the winner of Best Director? I don't know. I don't think this movie's all that great. I think you got to look out for Farge for The Substance, but James Mangold's kind of the grizzled veteran. I think the DGA proved that when he did get that nomination, that this is the DGA like typical pick of the grizzled veteran that we haven't rewarded before, that we want to give him a nomination for his body of work. And, Indy wasn't that good, but he circled the wagons and came out with The Complete Unknown, which is a much, much better film. And if you look at the whole 8 nominations, it shows that this movie is strong, and it's a little bit closer to possibly winning Best Picture than I think anybody would give it credit for. But I think it's Baker, and Corbett, and I think Baker will win screenplay. Not tipping my hand here, but that's what I got. Corbett.
All right, Ross, what do you got?
Okay, I'm actually with all you guys. I think that Corbett will win, but I wouldn't be mad. I'd be happy if he won. But then Chloe Farget should win.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're all kind of leaning to. But we can move on to documentary feature, where the nominees are. Take us away, Tristan.
Documentary feature, we've got Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugar Cane. Granted, I have not seen a lot of these yet, but I have seen 2 of them. So I think No Other Land is definitely going to win this one, though. It's been running away with every single other category or every single other show, so I think it's going to be No Other Land. And of the ones I watched, I think it should win. It's a very important subject matter. It was number 3 or something for my yearly ranking. So I'm going No Other Land for both can and should and will win.
Oh, what's the other one that you ended up watching?
I've seen Black Box Diaries.
Oh, yeah, because it's streaming on Paramount Plus now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I've seen 4 of the 5. I haven't seen Porcelain War. Reached out for a screener, but haven't got it. I do agree with Tristan. No Other Land should win, but No Other Land will win. But I would love it if Black Box Diaries pulled off the upset here. I still am in that camp where I want to see it get turned into an actual movie. But I think No Other Land should win, but I would love it if Black Box Diaries won.
Yeah. All right, you, Ross.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Northern Land will win, and I haven't seen any of these yet. The soundtrack to Coup d'etat sounds interesting, so I want that to win. I will watch these though.
I can't wait to watch Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. It seems like something I'll really, really like. So that's the one I'm most excited for, and I'm imagining once I do watch it, and it could be one of my favorite movies of the year. I love those kinds of movies.
Make time for it, because it's 2.5 hours.
And I'll tell you where you can find it too. I'll tell you where you can watch it. You could do a 7-day trial period on kinocollection.com or kinofilms.com or whatever it's called, and you can just cancel your thing. Don't buy it, and it's on there for, you got to put in your credit card information and all that stuff. But if you go before it circles back to charge you, you can cancel it, and you can still watch Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. I thought O Canada was on there, but I think it's only on Prime, so I got to go to Prime and pay for O Canada. But
yeah, I still got to check out O Canada. But yeah,
and Sugar Cane is on Disney Plus. If you got that, Black Box Diaries, Paramount Plus, and Porcelain. I don't know where that is.
It's not. I looked it up on my site, Dan. It's a site, Dan, called justwatch.com. It's where you can type in a movie in a show, and it'll tell you where it's streaming, and it says in the cinema only.
Yeah. So I have seen all 5 of these. As an IDA member, one of the screeners that they sent to us for the fall docs kind of lineup was Porcelain War. So I did get to see that one, and it completely shocked me. I had daughters getting in. No Netflix docs got in. I had daughters getting in.
Docs. That's crazy.
Instead of
the hell out of those.
Porcelain War. Yeah. So I was surprised that there was 0 Netflix docs. So I had that going in instead of Porcelain War, but I'm happy Porcelain War got in, and I'm not necessarily surprised because it's a Ukraine documentary, so that makes sense.
Hope it doesn't win. We've already had 2 Ukraine docs in the last 2 years win.
Yeah. So, but I still think that No Other Land is gonna win. And honestly, I think it should win as well because it's in my top 5 movies of the year of last year, I should say. It completely blew me away. Completely, it was just a phenomenal movie. But yeah, I would also love it if Black Box Diaries won. That was just such a inspirational and powerful story that I would not complain whatsoever if I ended up taking it. And you could even make the argument that it's more accessible than No Other Land right now because No Other Land is not bought by a studio. Like a lot of people can't watch it. There's no distribution right now. So with that, you could see an upset like Black Box Diaries winning or Sugarcane because both of those are really accessible. So,
and you can't necessarily downplay the touchiness of No Other Land as a subject matter. That there are going to be voters among the Academy who are like, I don't really want to vote for that movie.
And Sugarcane's dark. It's got a dark subject matter, even though Black Box Diaries has the Me Too movement subject matter thing going for it. Sugarcane's really dark. No Other Land's really dark.
But Black Box Diaries at least has that like uplifting nature to it, almost in the sense of where like once what happens. I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but you're just like you cheer and you're like, "Fuck yeah, stick it to the man," that kind of thing, and you're like,
well, I keep saying I think it should be a movie.
Kind of stuff. So it's one of those kind of things. So I think that that can help Black Box Diaries sneak in there as a potential winner. Also, I personally have followed the director and have even talked to the director. She's really nice. I've not interviewed her, but I have like messaged her and everything, and I've talked to her, and I can tell you that she is campaigning as strong as possible right now for Black Box Diaries. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
All right, let's skip that documentary short, move to film editing.
All right.
Can I do international feature instead of film? No, yeah. I'll do film editing. That's fine.
Either way, that's fine.
Anora, Sean Baker, The Brutalist, David Jasko, Conclave, Nick Emerson, Amelia Perez, Juliet Welfling, Wicked, Myron, Kirsten. Oh, God, film editing. This sucks. I mean, I don't know why anybody's predicting The Brutalist to win editing. This is like a 3.5-hour movie with a 15-minute intermission. Come on, that shouldn't be even nominated in this category. That's ridiculous. Where is September 5? That's unbelievable. The Brutalist.
Maybe the best editing of 2024, September 5.
September 5.
I won't actually tell me something, Dan. Though we'll say like about the Brutalist. Though in his screener that he has, it is only a minute long. The intermission.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you the reason why September 5 didn't get in here. If you look at all 5 of these are all 5 Best Picture nominated films. September 5 isn't nominated for Best Picture. It only got the one nomination. So there's the reason why. The other reason is I don't think Brutalist is going to win anyway. I think it's going to go to Conclave. I think that is some flashy editing and some really good, clean-cut editing, and that's what I think will win and should win. I know people say Anora or whatever, but I'm going for Conclave. I think it's the best one here.
Nice. What about you, Ross?
Okay, I actually think the Brutalist should win because like I thought that the 3.5 hours kind of did fly by, but then like Conclave should win or like Anora. I'll be happy with either one winning, just as long as it's anything but Amelia Perez.
Pretty much. That's going to be us with a lot of categories. Anything but Amelia.
Amelia Perez is our Don't Look Up this year, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. For me, my should win is Anora. I love Sean Baker's editing style, and I just think that the way he edits this, like the 2 hours and 20 minutes flies by. I mean, it is like super fast, and you are like entertained through the whole movie. And it's one of those cases where the editing is almost like a character in and of itself. Like it really applies to the themes of the movie and to like what is going on with the characters, like the way it's edited. So I really feel like that's an important nature of the film. So for me, I would personally say Honora should win. But I also want to go with EDM's comment that he made here. It says next to screenplay / director, picture goes with editing. And that's the reason why I'm going to pick my will win. Even though I think that Honora should win, I think the Brutalist is still going to win editing just because I think that that is the most likely to win picture right now. So, what do I
for me, should win, I think, is Honora. It gives so much energy to the film, and the various segments all have like their own unique pace and their own unique feel, and I think the editing is what keeps that movie alive. I've been playing it safe all episode, you know, so I feel like I want to throw something crazy in here for film editing on you guys.
Yeah.
And you mentioned EDM's one comment. I'm going to bring up EDM's second comment here. Could Perez pull off a girl with the dragon tattoo? Edgy / most editing equals win.
Most editing. I totally forgot about that. They love the most editing. Yeah.
And when you look back at the editing category, like they do love to give it to just like not well edited movies sometimes. Like Bohemian Rhapsody won best editing, and it's like a jokingly badly edited movie. And I think Emilia Perez may have that flashiness to the visuals, and it may end up being that nobody wants it to win, and then somehow it just ends up winning anyway. And Emilia Perez has been showing that it can be that still, you know. And I don't think Carla Sofia Gascon's tweets are going to affect like the editing branch necessarily too much. And I think Emilia Perez, I'm going to say Emilia Perez sneaks in and gets that crazy upset. You guys are all going to be crying and booing, and I'll be cheering.
Also, like, you know, like you're right, and I think that Don't Look Up even though like got an editing nomination, and that movie gives me a friggin' headache with this editing style.
The most editing is September 5. It didn't even get nominated. They only nominated these 5 because they're all Best Picture contenders, and the most editing of these is Honora. So there you go. There's your math there, Tristan.
Yeah. Which is like so stupid to me that like that they're like, oh, let's only nominate the Best Picture films. When it's like there are some films out there that are so well edited, and they're not Best Picture films. Like September 5 or The Apprentice had really great editing. Like Kneecap had really great editing. Like there's stuff like that I definitely would love to see in the editing categories. But I think that Nora is the second most edited film here. I do think Emilia Perez, with its musical numbers and like the big like
split screens and all kinds of stuff,
with the El Mal song and the way she's like bouncing from table to table and all that type of stuff, I think it definitely does have the most editing there for sure. So,
but now that we know what's going on with that movie, they ain't gonna vote for it.
We'll see. And yeah, like I said, I'm not sure the editing category will be touched by Carla Sofia Gascon controversy, but this next category definitely will be, especially because it has like a nice little outsider that I think has a good shot of sneaking in. Are you guys ready to move on to international feature? I don't know if anybody else has any final thoughts on editing.
No.
I'll read the nominees here for international feature. We've got I'm Still Here coming in from Brazil. Girl with a Needle coming in from Denmark. Emilia Perez coming in from France. Seed of the Sacred Fig coming in from Germany. And Flow coming in from Latvia. It right now to me feels like a two-horser, right? Yeah. It's Emilia has been leading for a really long time, and now the question becomes, does the controversy hurt it enough for it to lose to I'm Still Here? That's my biggest question right now, and I think it does. I think I'm Still Here is going to take it. I think the controversy is too big. It's going to sneak in for a couple of categories that are extremely untouched by Carla, but I think this will be where it loses, especially because I think this controversy is only going to boost up I'm Still Here and Fernando Torres in the conversation, and more people are going to vote for I'm Still Here almost as like a protest vote against Emilia Perez or something. You know, this is a movie that represents this culture in an authentic way that came from the actual place, and it wasn't like this outsider co-opting a culture to make a movie for awards. This feels much more earnest, and I think it's going to take it.
Yep, I agree 100% with what Tristan just said. I'm Still Here, Brazil, unfortunately. And boy, we could have gotten France out of it. Maybe we could have gotten India in there. You know, too bad. That sucks. Or Seed of the Sacred. Oh, it is in there. What am I talking about? It
Yeah.
is.
Kneecap could have made it in
Un-
here.
un- un- I was
Kneecap.
gonna say. Unfortunately, I'm Still Here is a great movie. I would love for I'm Still Here to win the award. That'd be fine for me.
No. I don't have any issues with it. When I just like something like get rid of France and put Ireland in there. That would have been nice.
Yeah, that would have been better. Also, especially considering that Amelia Perez isn't even a French movie; it's a Mexican movie. I don't get why.
That's why people are complaining about cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
in Germany, Seated in Sacred Fig is Iranian, but it's German. We all know that story.
but that is different because it's something where like if he would have filmed it in his country, he would have been exiled and all that kind of stuff. It was like a big political thing in that case. But
Flo doesn't have any words in it, so whatever. That's all this craziness.
Yeah. What do you think, Ross?
I think I'm Still Here, will win, and I haven't seen. But I think that I've only seen Amelia Perez and Flo out of these, and I really do want to see I'm Still Here and the Girl with the Needle. But I still think that I'm not gonna do the should win because I've only seen a few of these. But yeah, I'm excited to see I'm Still Here and the Girl with the Needle. I really want to see.
Yeah, they're all great. Girl with the Needle. Be careful, Ross.
I know
what it's about. I know what it's about. Mike told me.
Oh yeah, I kind of
World War II. It's the aftermath of World War II, and it's dark. It's kind of dark.
Oh yeah, so when I looked through all the nominations, I didn't realize this till later, but I did really well on through festivals and screeners and all that kind of stuff of watching all the nominees. That the only feature film nominee that I have to see, obviously I have to see all the shorts. So if I exclude the shorts, the feature film nominees that I have to see, all I have to see now is Better Man, and I would have seen all the nominees for these categories. I did really well on watching them because I've seen all 5 of these, all 5 of the documentaries that we talked about, all 5 of all the other categories and such. So I did really good here, and I can tell you my favorite here is Flow. I think that movie was in my top 10 of the year. That movie was exceptional for me. I think that is my favorite film of this. I would love to see it win. But I also have a should/will for I'm Still Here. I think that's a very important movie, and I think that is something that will win because it's also, if they still want to make a political statement, once y'all will watch the film, you'll understand what I mean by it. That's still a political statement because that film is very political in nature.
Well,
so.
It's got an environmental subtext.
And let me tell you something. Okay, Tristan, I know that you're a fan of Amelia Perez, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that France though screwed up by not putting the better movie in, and that was Red Rooms? They should have submitted Red Rooms instead of Amelia Perez.
I say the better movie is The Count of Monte Cristo, Ross.
Yeah, Count of Monte Cristo would have been a really good nomination for.
But what about Red Room too?
Yeah, Red Rooms, I love the movie, but it's not going to get an Oscar.
No, that's
it was a 2023 movie, wasn't it?
It technically was. That was its festival run. Its release was in 2024 technically. But yeah, I think that also India fucked up massively because I feel like All We Imagine Is Light would have been a shoo-in, an absolute lock to get into this category
and maybe win.
Maybe even win if All We Imagine Is Light could have gotten in there, but India fucked up again. So
yep.
I certainly did. So now makeup and hairstyling. I forget whose turn it is. I think it's I'll let Ross go. Yeah. So Ross, what's your
okay? Makeup and hairstyling, A Different Man, Amelia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. One of the best categories, I think, of the Oscars, honestly.
Yeah.
Very good category, actually.
I'd be happy with 4 of these winning. You know, like
Which-
I'd be happy if a different man won, Nosferatu won, the Substance or Wicked, but you know, like I actually think should win is Nosferatu, but will win is the Substance, and I still wouldn't be mad.
Yeah. Even as somebody who honestly is an Amelia Perez hater on the show, I'll give credit where credit's due. I'm going to be an honest person and tell you that Amelia Perez had great makeup. Like, I saw that first 20, 30 minutes, however long it was. I legitimately looked it up thinking that a man played Carla's role. I did not know that was Carla in the makeup. And when I learned it wasn't her, I was like, what? I was so shocked. Like, that is really great makeup. So I am not going to complain about that nomination for sure. I think that is definitely well deserved. A Different Man was really well deserved here as well for what they were pull off. Nosferatu, obviously, yeah, a lot of all this is really good. Obviously, I would have loved to have seen something like a Sasquatch Sunset in there or something like that, but obviously it wasn't even shortlisted, which was unfortunate. But that had great makeup. I think I'll go will win / should win. I am gonna say that I think that while Demi Moore has a chance, there's still that chance she could lose to either Mikey Madison or Fernando Torres. I think that the Substance's strongest chance of a win is in makeup and hairstyling, because look at the past, right? I know it's a horror movie, but they have awarded horror movies best makeup and hairstyling in the past. If you look at American Werewolf in London, which invented this category, by the way, it won that category, and then The Fly also won this category. So like they have awarded body horror type stuff before in this category, well before when they had their horror biases. So I still think the Substance is in a very strong place to win. So that's what
Actually, Mike, though, like I looked it up too. Actually, like American Werewolf in London did not cause the category to be invented. What movie did actually?
Oh,
The
what?
Elephant Man. The Elephant Man did.
Oh, the Elephant Man. Okay. Yeah, that was a good pick then. Haven't been invented, but yeah. But still, American Werewolf in London did win, and that was a horror movie. And then
Yeah.
and then The Fly ended up winning, and that was also a horror movie. So, yeah. What about you, Tristan?
For me, The Substance will win, and it also should win. I love that this movie revived body horror in the pop culture, and we're going to see studios chasing that high for the next decade. You know, we're going to see a big rush of body horror movies because of the effects within this movie. So I think it can win. I think it should win. I think you got to keep an eye on A Different Man as a little sleeper, because that has some very, very showy makeup, and it's something you notice as soon as you start the movie. So I feel like A Different Man may sneak in, maybe, but I feel it's like The Substance. I would be shocked if it's not The Substance here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be The Substance is going to win, and I agree with what Tristan said about A Different Man. I think the fact that Sebastian Stan walked around New York City in the makeup in that movie and nobody knew it was him, that tells you something. That's some damn good makeup.
And you talk about the Elephant Man legacy too. Like, it's a very Elephant Man-esque makeup.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, but I think it's The Substance. I think this is the lone, or maybe 2 wins for The Substance, but Substance got this, in my opinion. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so we're all going Substance there, so we can move on to original score. But for them, we still think Shallow being a lot for original song votes away from Gaga and Actress. The movie is given its due. The Substance becomes a lot. Could Demi lose a casual vote or 2?
That's an interesting point, because I can see The Substance being like the Academy decides this is our award for The Substance's makeup and hairstyling, and then they end up not pushing for Demi because they say, here's the one you get, and then that's it.
They're going to go for the pair. They've been doing the pair. And it's kind of questionable from last year, but it's considered the pair, makeup and hair, and Best Actress or Best Actor. So even though it's a little wonky because most of the makeup is on Willem Dafoe, but it's still the makeup and hair and Best Actress went together last year. And I think it's going to do it. I think there's a good shot at it happening again this year with either you could have either gone with Wicked, Amelia Perez, or Substance with that. Or, you know what I mean? That's Sebastian Stan is Best Actor for The Apprentice, but he's in A Different Man. So wouldn't that be wild if A Different Man wins makeup and Sebastian Stan wins Best Actor and the makeup correlates? That'd be crazy, right?
But it's for like two entirely different movies.
Two different movies. Yeah, but it could correlate to four different movies in that category. That's how crazy the makeup and hair and Best Actor / Actress is this year. There's a lot of crossover there.
I mean, yeah, we didn't even bring that up when we were talking about the Best Actor races. That like, if they're mad enough that like Trump won and all that, like, who knows? They could totally surprise and just do like a Sebastian Stan win as like a way to be like, you know, fuck you to Trump or whatever. They could totally do that and then like give and then give Different Man a makeup win and just completely shock us. And I
wouldn't be surprised if The Apprentice was 5th in makeup. Or 6th in makeup, I mean, because that's some damn good makeup on Roy Cohn, Jeremy Strong, and Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump.
True. Very good makeup. But yeah, we have music original score. And I think it's
back to you.
Back to me. Yeah. So we got the Brutalist, Conclave, which is Brutalist is Daniel Bloomberg. Then we got Conclave, which is Volker Bertelmann, Amelia Perez, Clement Ducol, and Camille. And then Wicked, which is John Powell and Stephen Schwartz. Yeah. And then the Wild Robot is for Chris Bowers. So first off, fuck you, Academy. Middle finger for not doing challengers here. One of the best scores of the year. Just it won the Golden Globe. This was such a fun, like bombastic score that I work out to, I lift weights to, I do all that stuff. Like this is such a energetic score. I loved it so much. And y'all didn't even nominate this, so like I don't even know what's up with that. But with that said, I think that also I just want to point out no Nosferatu, and Nosferatu also has an excellent score. Like I would have loved to have seen that in here. But Nosferatu did get 4 nominations though, and I am happy at least was able to score 4. That was good for a horror movie. That's a really good showing. But I'll say will win here. I think will be the Brutalist because it has that large, that kind of thing where it's like plays the music really loud and it over swells the speakers and all that. But honestly, should win. It's like a toss-up between the two, between the Brutalist and Conclave, but I think I'm going to go Conclave. I feel like that score was just really powerful for me. What do you think, Tristan?
I think there's a reality where Wicked gets this just because people are thinking, oh, I like the music in Wicked, so I'm going to vote for it in the original score. But I feel that the winner here it's definitely between Brutalist and Conclave, and I think it's ultimately going to come down to like which one of these is more so the leader for Best Picture, and I think it's Brutalist. I think Conclave is not going to be in like the top 3 for picture, and I think Brutalist very much easily is top 3, if not like number 1 for people. So I think Brutalist will get it. It's a bigger score from what I've listened to, and plus you have like 15 minutes of sitting there listening to the score in the intermission, so I think it'll get the win for it. But Conclave, you can't sleep on Conclave. Very, very noticeable score. I think you can't count out like very big and noticeable and showy scores. And Conclave has that like large scale camp score to it that elevates the drama so much in Conclave. But I'd rather see it go for Brutalist. This is a very, very weak category. There's a lot of good scores this year, and none of them seem to be here. But for should win, I guess I'd say Conclave. It's a good score, but the movies that should win are ones you guys mentioned previously, like Nosferatu and Challengers and stuff that is not here. So a bizarre category this year for score.
Yeah, I think Vocal Birdman makes the score of the year. I mean, I come away from that movie, and I love that movie. I've seen it 6 times, and those violins and cellos just resonate, and it's like a whole character in the movie, the score of Conclave. So I think I'm going to go with it should win, and it will win for Conclave. But I love Chris Bauer's score in The Wild Robot. Oh my God, what a soaring, big, loud score, and it really affected me. Chris Bauer's. I was glad to see The Wild Robot get in here, but I think it should be Conclave, and it will be Conclave for Vocal Birdman. That'll be 2 Oscars for him.
Yeah. What about you, Ross?
Okay, I think I'll be happy with either the Brutalist or Conclave winning. So yeah, it's either one, but will win is the Brutalist, but Conclave I think is the slightly better score. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with yeah. But I do love that score, for Conclave. Like I remember I played it for you after I saw the movie, said listen to this real quick, and you said, "Oh my God," you said that could win, even before seeing the movie.
True. Yeah, no, it's an incredible score. So, we can move on
song up. Is song up to me?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God, how did I get this crappy category? I hate this category. El Mal from Amelia Perez.
Hey, at least they're not performing this category. So
but music by Clement Ducrot and Camille, lyrics by Clement Ducrot, Camille, and Jacques Audiard. The Journey. Oh, go figure. Diane Warren from the 688 music, lyrics by her. So, of course, we're going to get her in there. Like a Bird, which I still think there's a, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I think there was a little bit of a mix up here, and I think they mixed up the songs from Sing Sing and The Wild Robot, and they end up, Like a Bird. Oh, it's about the birds. Okay, we'll get it. No, I think they screwed up and put the wrong song in here, and then they were supposed to put the Wild Robot song. They put Like a Bird instead. But I could be completely wrong. Maybe they do like the Like a Bird song from Sing Sing. Music and lyrics by Abraham Alexander Adrian Casada. Mi Camino, once again, from Amelia Perez. Music and lyrics by Camille and Clement Ducrot. Never Too Late, the Elton John documentary from Elton John, Never Too Late. Lyrics by Elton John, Brandy Carlisle, Andrew Waite, and Bernie Taupin. Yeah. Oh, God. Up until yesterday or today, I would have said El Mal was going to win. Now they might actually give Diane Warren her overdue Oscar at this point. This is a brutally bad category. Where is Harper and Will Go West? This is ridiculous. But after the events of what's going on with Amelia Perez, this could actually be to the benefit of Diane Warren, and she might actually finally win her Oscar. And I'm actually going for the upset. I'm going for The Journey for Diane Warren from 688.
All right, Ross, what do you think?
I'm actually going to go with Dan. I think Diane Warren finally gets her Oscar, but I cannot believe that's going to be for a Tyler Perry movie, though.
That's so true.
But yeah, I don't know why. But okay, when I listened to that song Like a Bird, I thought it wasn't eligible at first, just because I'm thinking it's not a Nelly Furtado song, but it's a different song. But they both have the same title. So, but I'm
one that personally loves Like a Bird. The fly, 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 I fly like a bird. I fly, fly. I really liked
But
it
if you got, but
when I
if
first heard it.
you
It was like
old
really
guys,
good.
like if you old people watching too know that song by Nelly Furtado, it's the same title, So I thought that it was it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yes, but yeah,
was
I think though that the journey is going to win. Diane Warren's finally going to get her Oscar,
yeah. So
but watch out for Never Too Late though, because he's
yeah,
not.
God. But okay.
The
First
process
off,
of attrition, she ends up winning.
First
mean-
off, I do want to say this. This is not a knock to Elton John. Anyone who knows me knows Elton John is in my like top 3 favorite singers of all time. I freaking love Elton John. He's incredible. He's got amazing stuff like Take Me Down, Tiny Dancer. He's got Tiny Dancer. He's got all the iconic ones in there. I love Elton John to death. That being said, I am tired of nominating Elton John. Like this is just an overdone thing at this point. It's sort of like Diane Warren. It's like, all right, what else is new? It's like overdone at this point, and especially because Never Too Late is honestly one of his weakest songs. I'm like, are we really gonna nominate him for one of the songs that aren't that good? One of the rare songs that aren't that good from Elton John? Like, really? Come on, guys. Like, I'm not that big of a fan of the song, and I don't get why they nominate it, but a Wild Robot song should be here, or Harper and We'll Go West instead. But it is what it is. Yeah, this is a very weak category. I still am gonna say Emilia Perez wins, but I am gonna say it's not gonna be El Mal, and here's why. Because El Mal, who does that song contain? When you watch the movie, the song is a duet between Zoe Saldana and Carla Sofia Gascon. She appears in that song. Mi Camino is a Selena Gomez song. And after the tweets that came out that were like bashing Selena Gomez and all this stuff, there could be a kind of a resurgence for Selena. And I think that even though she wouldn't be winning this category because the song wasn't written by her, I still think that could like still boost the song's chances. And Mi Camino, I think, could end up winning this category still. So I'm actually going to pick Mi Camino as the will win, but I think should win for me is in a very weak category is Like a Bird. That's honestly the only good song in this entire category. So, yeah.
I think you guys are crazy for discounting Emilia Perez in this category. It's a very quick reaction. Like, Emilia Perez has been sweeping this thing, and I think it's going to be El Mal still. I think if something upsets it, it's Mi Camino. And I guess if Emilia is going to miss, the sleeper for me is Elton John because he has a narrative of it's the end of his career. This might be like our last chance to give him a win. So if something else wins, that's not Amelia. I feel it's never too late, but I think it's El Mal, and I think it's going to be because it's an award for Zoe Saldana. Like, this is essentially like a second nomination for her, and I think she'll get it. And I think what should win, I guess, of this category is Mi Camino, my favorite song on the list and one of the better songs in Emilia Perez. I really enjoy the music from Emilia Perez for what it is, but they're not necessarily like sing-along songs. But I think Mi Camino is about as close as they get to like a sing-along song in that movie. So I would go for that for the best pick, I guess. But yeah, I'm feeling El Mal on this one. You're not slowing El Mal down. This is one where I think Emilia is still going to hang on.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Moving on to.
Do we want to save Best Picture for the end?
Design? We can do that. Move on to production design.
Because we have to still do the 2 screenplays too, right?
Oh yeah, we still have the screenplay categories.
Yeah, the order on the Oscars website is a little weird, but we'll get back to Best Picture.
Yeah. So whose turn is it?
I'll go. Production design. We have The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. This is a strong category. I think every single one here deserves to be in this category. There's no like, what the hell is that pick, And it's difficult because all of these have bragging points to go off of, but I think Wicked has it for just like the scale of the production and the fact that it's more recent than Dune. I think pushes it above Dune. The fact that Dune has underperformed all season, but especially at the Oscars, is going to hurt it a little bit here. And I think Wicked has that narrative of, oh, we built the tulips, we built the train, we built this, we built that, and comparatively to so many other musicals that look like digital hellscapes and covered in CGI, like Wicked at least put so much effort and put its money where its mouth is in terms of making a huge scale production. So I think it's going for Wicked here. Although what should win, I would probably say either Dune Part 2 or Nosferatu, because those are just jaw-dropping productions. But I think Dune might have that like been there, done that sense to this category, whereas Wicked is like the new shiny thing.
I think Wicked's got this in the bag. But I'll tell you what, if there was an upset here, I actually think the production design in Conclave's very, very impressive. I love the production design in Conclave. So if there was an upset, I think I'd love to see Conclave win, but I think it's Wicked all the way.
All right. What about you, Ross?
I think that the Wicked does have it, because like I still cannot believe that they actually planted all the flowers. They planted 9 million flowers in the movie. So yeah, but and then I think it's between. But I would love to see Conclave win, but because like my friend was like, how they? I just thought they didn't allow them to shoot inside of the Vatican. I said they don't. It's recreated. And she says, "Oh my god, yeah." But and watch out for the Brutalist though. For production design. So yeah, but I'm gonna go with Wicked to win.
Yeah, I think absolutely should win in my opinion is Conclave. Like they legitimately convinced me that they shot in the Vatican. You will not tell me otherwise. They shot in the Vatican. Like, come on. Like, there's no way that was built set. Like it looked that good to me.
And my friend told me though, like this woman literally like took her phone out just to check the time inside the Vatican, and they literally forced the woman out of the Vatican.
Jeez.
When I was in the Vatican, I was like sneaking pictures, holding my phone like this, trying to like get a picture of the ceiling, and I was like sweating because they had guards like around you watching you, making sure nobody even had their phone out of their pocket, let alone the camera out. So they're strict about that stuff.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that was really, really good production design for sure. I think will win though is going to be Wicked for what they were able to achieve with, like you said, the 9 million flowers planted, and then just all the other craziness that happened. So, yeah, Wicked is gonna get
Ross,
my vote.
I think is on sound or no?
Yeah, sound. So
yeah, okay, sound. A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked and the Wild Robot. I'm actually gonna go with I think it's between A Complete Unknown and Dune Part 2. Because the sound of Dune Part 2 is amazing. Like A Complete Unknown, they like to award, the sound to those like musical biopics. So yeah. I think probably this is the one award that Dune Part 2 could actually win. So I'm gonna go with Dune Part 2.
Very, very true. I'm gonna see if it was only nominated or did A Star Is Born win sound. I gotta look and see. I'm trying to remember if it won sound or if it only won the one Oscar. Okay, so no, it only won the one Oscar for original song, but they nominated A Star Is Born for sound for sure, and they nominated and had win Bohemian Rhapsody for sound. So that's a big thing. They love these music biopics and sound. So Complete Unknown could definitely win here. I think should win is definitely going to be Dune Part 2 because that sound was like, I watched it in IMAX as my first showing, and it just completely, my whole seat was just rumbling. I was like shaking it was like an orgasmic experience. It was insane with the sound. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely say should win is Dune Part 2, and will win. I just think Dune Part 2. I just think Dune, like, it underperformed, So I actually am going to say Complete Unknown here. I think that might take it. What you, Tristan?
It's rough because I think Complete Unknown has great sound and it really captures like the live music essence of like when the camera is moving towards the guitar starts to kind of like rise in the mix, and when it's focused on the vocals, you can hear like the echo of these big halls and things like that. I think it captures what it's like to experience live music and a music festival really well, and I think that's very important in a movie like Bob Dylan's biopic. But I also look back at something like A Star Is Born that did very, very similar sound mixing and sound editing and ended up not winning the category. And I think it's going to be a tough one because I think Complete Unknown has a good shot here as just like the newest addition that people are kind of really in love with. So for me, like it just was between Dune and Complete Unknown, and I'm gonna go with Dune. I think it's missing a lot of categories, but I think it's gonna sneak in for like at least one or two. And I think the sound for these musical biopics is the performance previously is kind of mixed. Like they get nominated a lot, but they don't necessarily tend to win all the time. So I'm gonna go with Dune Part 2 online.
All right. What are you, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, sound in these movies are all great, but I absolutely agree with Ross. I think the sound in A Complete Alone is amazing. Tristan also talked about that. I mean, I was blown away by the sound in A Complete Unknown when I saw it. But I mean, would it be a second win for sound for Dune for doing similar things as the first Dune? I mean, are they going to go back to back with Dune with the two movies? In similar categories like cinematography, sound. You know what I mean? That stuff. So I'm kind of worried about it. That's why I would go with A Complete Unknown to win.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's a good song.
Visual effects. We skipped around. We've been skipping around.
We did. We'll let you go, Dan. Then let's kind of start over from me in the next category.
Okay. All right. Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Wicked. Okay. So we got 3 of the 5 possible 8 movies getting in here. There was a potential of 5-8 movies getting in here, but that 3 of the 5 got in here. I know a lot of people, Kingdom of the Planet is great. Oh my God. I'll tell you right now, I would love to see the one-off and Better Man pull it off here. But I'll tell you what, the world of Dune comes to life in those movies, and they just look so real. It's ridiculous how those places look so real. And they look just really good. Better Man, you could tell there was a little bit of a wonkiness to the visual effects. I'm not saying it's bad because it isn't bad. It's good. But you could tell, especially with the close-up visuals, there's a little bit, okay, this is visual effects, If Better Man pulled it off, that'd be amazing. But I think Dune is the best. So I think that's what's probably going to win. Dune Part 2.
All right. What about you, Ross?
I actually, I think Dune Part 2 could win, but I'm going to go with Wicked. I think Wicked will win.
All right, if you say so.
I mean, it could end up being a Wicked overperforming. It already overperformed at the terms of nominations, so who knows? But for me, first off, that would be an insane feat to be one of the biggest box office bombs in history, and yet you win visual effects at the Oscars. That would be insane. That would be unheard of. That would be like crazy. But I really would love to see, because all 3, I don't know how all 3 did not win between Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War of the Planet of the Apes, especially those last 2. Like, all these Planet of the Apes films are exceptional visual effects. Like, they just blow my mind how good they are. And War for the Planet of the Apes, has changed my entire outlook on CGI. Now I watch movies and I can always notice the CGI because of how good War for the Planet of the Apes looked. I feel like that should have won the Oscar that year when it was nominated. So I would love to, for me, the should win is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So I would finally love for one of these Apes movies to finally win a visual effects category. But I think will be Dune Part 2. And it's a very deserved win. I would not complain at all if it won. Dune Part 2 is excellent visually, and I think if it does wind up winning an Oscar, I think this is the best bet. I mean, it could end up winning sound, like we talk about, and it could walk away with 2 Oscars. But if it lost sound, I feel like this is almost a shoo-in, pretty much. And I think that it's at least going to win visual effects. So, yeah.
For me, it's between Dune and Wicked. I think Dune certainly has the better visual effects over Wicked, but I think Wicked might just be the best picture nominee that they like the most and the one that I think has the highest shot of winning, and there's only 2 best picture nominees on this category. One of them I feel has like a 0% chance of winning, and one of them has, a very, very high percent chance of winning. So it's between those 2, and I think I'm going to go Wicked. I'm going to agree with Ross here. I think once in a while the Academy does throw in like a what the hell win, and I think the Academy is not going to be clean this year. They're not going to give us nothing but the ones we all want, and I think you look at the list, Dune Part 2 feels like the runaway hit, so I feel like Oscars are going to swerve us and be like, you know what, we loved Wicked. There was some cool visuals in that one, and then they give it to Wicked, and everybody on film Twitter cries about how the color grading is so bad in some shots and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter to the Academy. They nominated it, and I think it's going to be that upset. People are going to cry that it's not Dune, it's not Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, but I just think Wicked has a better shot at picture, so it's going to get in for a couple categories here, and I think it's visual effects.
Yeah, hey Mike, I looked up it, and then you said now, War for the Planet of the Apes should have won.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because what won too had really good effects. So,
I mean, yeah, Blade Runner 2049 had incredible effects. Don't get me wrong, but I think War for the Planet of the Apes might have had just a hair bit better than Blade Runner for me. But yeah, no, it's an excellent category. And to say your point, Dune Part 2, yes, it did at one point have a 0% chance of winning, but now it has a 0.1% after the Amelia Perez controversy. Now Amelia Perez is 0%.
Yeah, they went from like number 1 or 2 to like number 10.
Yeah. But yeah, for writing adapted screenplay, we'll start with me and go back down. But we got A Complete Unknown. We got Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. So, first off, how do you nominate Sing Sing? Like, over-nominate it? It got into Best Original Song. It got into Adapted Screenplay. It got into Best Actor, all this stuff like that, like a bunch of major categories. And yet didn't get Picture? That's wild to me. I'm like, I don't understand that. But I was happy to see Nickel Boys here. I love that film. If it was up to me, I think that, yeah, should win probably would be like between Sing Sing or Conclave, and then will win is Conclave. I mean, the fact it won Best Screenplay overall, like at the Globes, shows how strong it is. So I think Best Adapted Screenplay would definitely go to Conclave. What about you, Tristan?
I agree with you. I think it will go to Conclave, and I think it should go to Conclave. I think, especially as someone who read the book, it's a pretty strongly direct adaptation of the book, and it took a lot of the best moments and the best touches of the book and made it, directly to the screen. And I think nothing else here really seems to be like a potential win, honestly. Like, Conclave has been the front runner for a really long time. If anything else wins at this point, it's going to be an upset for me. And I enjoy Complete Unknown screenplay, especially because I think it's more of a feat to take something that's not a narrative and turn it into a narrative, and Conclave, they just took the exact narrative of the book and did it on screen, whereas Complete Unknown has that barrier of this is like a nonfiction historical kind of book, and we got to find like the story there. So I think that's a good accomplishment. But yeah, it's going to be Conclave.
Oh yeah. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I absolutely think it's Peter Strahan. I think it's an amazing adaptation of this book. I read the book before seeing the movie, and I think he does a great job. He is going to win the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. Peter Strahan.
Agreed. What about you, Russ?
Oh yeah, he's gonna win. And plus, I was actually talking about this, on the best of the year. Sometimes it literally felt like he didn't really write a script. That's how faithful of an adaptation it is. Sometimes it feels like he literally just took the book and told the actors, "Here you go, read lines from this one, because there's literally lines, pieces of thing where I go, "Oh my god, that's really in the book, yeah." Constantly should win
for sure.
We're universal on that one. I think it's the first category of the night that we were all like, "That's definitely happening," and there's no other option.
Yeah, they were all in agreement that Conclave for sure is going to take that one. Writing original screenplay, Tristan, you can take us around that.
Original screenplay, you got Honora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. I love seeing September 5 make it in here. I was scared it would get total zilched, but I'm happy it made it in. It's not going to win, but I feel like that might be my pick for what should win, as well as The Substance. The Substance had a very inventive and boundary-pushing screenplay. A lot of the fun of The Substance comes from just that really surreal and on-the-nose kind of script, the fun of that dialogue and stuff like that. But I think it's Honora here. Sean Baker's got to get something, and he's been working the game for so long trying to get his due, and I think Honora is going to be his due. This movie, the script is such a prominent part of it, and I think if it wins anything at all at the Academy this year, it's going to be screenplay. I don't think he's going to be getting director, but I think he's going to be getting the screenplay for here's your award. We're not giving you director, but we're giving you screenplay.
Yeah, the consolation prize now for directing and or best picture is screenplay. So if you see a director win in screenplay, it's a consolation prize. And I think Baker is going to win the consolation prize, and that's writing for the original screenplay for Honora. And that's should win, will win. Sean Baker. And congratulations.
Yep.
Right. What are you, Russ?
I think that Honora will win, but watch out for A Real Pain.
Mm-hmm.
But but Honora will win and should win. The screenplay was one of the best parts about the movie.
Yeah, I think that as far as screenplay goes, I think that Honora will win. But my favorite screenplay of the year was A Real Pain. I think the writing in that movie was exceptional, and so I would love to see that one win. But yeah, I think this is going to be Sean Baker's year. I think this is just one of those cases of he's been in the industry long enough to the point that you can say he's a legend. And he is going to, I think if he's going to finally win an Oscar, he's got 4 shots to win an Oscar right now. So technically he's got 5 because he's also a producer on Honora. So he's got 5 shots to win an Oscar at the ceremony. And to lose all 5 would be a travesty. So I think he is going to win for screenplay.
EDM's believing in Real Pain. They're talking about how actors turn directors and actors turn writers tend to win. That seems to be something the Academy loves to see, is people getting out of their boundary and trying something new in the industry. So I think Real Pain is probably the sleeper underneath Honora right now.
Yeah, I just think the fact that didn't get in for Best Picture hurts it. Mm-hmm. I think that if it would have gotten in for Best Picture, I think we would be saying A Real Pain easily takes this category. I think we would be saying that. But because A Real Pain missed Picture, I think Honora now has a stronger chance. So I am happy to see September 5 there. No, but,
it brings us to the Forspoken category here. We made it.
All right, best picture. You can take us away, Dan, since it's your turn on best picture. You can
Honora, Alex Coco, Samantha Kwan, Sean Baker, producers. The Brutalist nominees to be determined. A Complete Unknown. Fred Berger, James Mangold, Alex Henneman, producers. Conclave. Tessa Ross, Juliet Howe, Michael A. Jackman, producers. Dune Part 2, Mary Parent, Carol Boitner, Tanya Lapointe, Denny Villeneuve, producers. Amelia Perez, Pascal Cochet, Jacques Audiard, producers. I'm Still Here, nominees to be determined. Nickel Boys, Dee Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, Jocelyn Barnes, producers. The Substance, nominees to be determined. Wicked, Mark Platt, producers. All right, guys, bear with me here. I think if you watch what we've been doing all night long, we got a different we got a different person in adapted screenplay. We got a different person in original screenplay. We got a different person in director. You know what I mean? We got a different person in all of these categories, or a different thing. And so I think it's going to be something different, and I think it's going to be something that's friendly to a committee of the specific way of voting system that the Best Picture goes for. And I think it's something that's going to get a lot of 1, 2s, and 3s votes. Not down. Like, I think Brutalist is going to get some 1s. It's going to get some 10s. I think Amelia Perez is out of the mix now. Nickel Boys is the same way. I think might get a couple 1s, but it's going to get some down things. I think something that's going to be in the middle, or possibly getting a lot of 1s, 2s, and 3s, is going to be Wicked. I think the world and the country needs something that has a message, a good message. I think, based off the fires in LA and the country as a whole, we want to get our minds off of all the negativity. And I think it's going to either be Wicked or Conclave. And if I had my druthers, I'd like to see either one of the two of them win. And I think you're going to see them both get a lot of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4 votes, and not a lot of 8s, 9s, and 10s. And so I'm going to go with Wicked in the preferential ballot, with a close second as Conclave. But for some reason, I just have a weird sneaking suspicion Brutalist could pull it off, and I hope it doesn't.
All right. What are you, Ross?
Okay. I think it'll be The Brutalist and Wicked, either one. But I think, I love the way the movie's done, but I think it was a more of a traditional way it was shot. I think Nickel Boys would have had a chance to win. But I think the way it was shot is going to, turn some people off, too. But, I think
That movie doesn't even get nominated for Best Picture, Ross, if it's shot in a normal way, because it's just your normal movie. Trust me on that.
I agree.
Yeah.
But so I think The Brutalist or Wicked, but don't be surprised if Honora sweeps in there and takes it.
Yeah. I think that it all depends again on how precursors go. Like, if we get something like Honora winning Best Picture at the Critics' Choice or something, and maybe winning Best SAG Ensemble, I still think SAG Ensemble is going to go Wicked. But if something like Honora takes that as well as Best Picture at Critics' Choice, then I think we have something to really look at as a competitor there. But again, they could go several different routes here. They could lean towards the, hey, we're very depressed with the state of the country right now, so we're going to go with something that makes us feel positive and go with Wicked, because Wicked is that kind of more positive, more happy kind of film. It's something that, we could all use a little positivity in our lives, so they could go with something like Wicked. But I think at the end of the day, because of, I think, BAFTA and the way BAFTA is going to go, I think BAFTA is going to give it to The Brutalist. And so I still am saying that I think The Brutalist, because it'll win Globe and because it'll win BAFTA, I think The Brutalist will still go on to win Best Picture. And I do want to read a statistic that, because right now we've only ever had the Globe take it, and apparently the out of the last 20 years, like I think it's been about 9 times has a Best Picture movie won at the Globes, won Best Picture at the Oscars, and 6 of those times was Best Picture Drama, while 3 of those times was Best Picture Musical or Comedy. So,
Can I give you a stat? Can I give you a stat, Wolf, real quick?
Yeah.
The last time a Best Picture winner won without a director or screenplay nomination, 1928. Grand Hotel. That would be wicked.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah.
Grand Hotel is the only film to literally, its only nomination was Best Picture, and it won. That was its only nomination too.
So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen then for Wicked. And I will also say in Wicked's as a sort of a negative towards Wicked winning picture, I will say that it won MBR, and I feel like that will hurt its chances. And the only reason why I say that hurt its chances is because look at past MBR winners. Literally the last winner of Best Picture that also won National Board of Review was Green Book, and that was back in 2018. So National Board of Review is not really that good when predicting what wins Best Picture at the Oscars. So I think that, with that said, I think that it's going to be a toss-up between The Brutalist and Anora, because I think Anora still has that enough of like the positivity factor, even though it ends really sad. I think it still has enough of that like that factor to it that will that can get voters behind it. But I still think that The Brutalist, they gave it to Oppenheimer last year, which is that 3-hour epic, so they can give it to the 3.5-hour epic. I think I think it's still gonna wind up taking it.
This is such a hard category now. Like
This.
A lot of movies could take this, and there's a narrative for so many of them. EDM's been talking in the chat a lot about Complete Unknown, and it's starting to like wear into my head a little bit of like, it's Complete Unknown, that nostalgic kind of wasn't the past great movie, and it has that element of social rebellion as well, and kind of like going against the grain. I think you can't discount Complete Unknown, but you really can't discount like nearly any movie here at this point. Like even Amelia Perez has like a weird shot at holding on to this. I don't think it will, but
you gotta look at the preferential ballot, Tristan. What's gonna get a lot of 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s? Is Brutalist gonna get a lot of 1s, 2s? I think it's got 1s, and then it's gonna get a lot of 8, 9s, 10s. Don't you think?
I don't know,
it's
because
gonna turn people off.
I think it's. You would think it would turn people off, but it's been doing so well, and it did so well at the Oscars. It got over-nominated here.
Yeah, it did. No, I agree.
And also there was that whole thing of, oh, well, people weren't finishing their Brutalist screeners, and who still got nominated? Felicity Jones.
I honestly feel like there's a narrative too of like,
the moment that news broke, a lot of people took Felicity Jones out of their predictions because they were like, oh shit, well, okay, they didn't finish the Brutalist. That means that, they didn't even get to the Felicity Jones parts, and she still got in. So considering that, it's like a very strong competitor. Like it's yeah.
And I think there's honestly an element of people who didn't watch Brutalist but put it in their top 3 because they like want to vote for the smart person movie. They're like, oh, that's like the film bro movie. We got to put that in our top 3 so people think we're smart, and then it sneaks in. But I think you gotta. It's a tough call, but I think they will go for a bit more of an accessible film. I think it's between. For me, it's between Conclave and maybe in Nora. But I think for me, maybe the nudity in Nora might turn off some of the older voters.
The vulgar
possibly.
word, a lot of cursing.
Yeah, it's a very vulgar movie.
Got a really nasty ending with someone choking someone.
It's a tough call. You can go so many different ways with it, but I'm gonna go with the Brutalist as well. I think the Brutalist is gonna have some sleeper votes. I might regret this, and by the time we do our final votes, I might change my mind. But I think Brutalist has the narrative, like I said, of the smart person's pick. And I know they just nominated Oppenheimer for the same thing, and it won last year. I feel like that hurts the Brutalist a little bit because they're gonna give it to essentially like the same kind of movie next time, and I don't think Brutalist is as acclaimed as Oppenheimer was. So I think that is a danger for Brutalist. But I'm feeling Brutalist. I probably put Honora at like 2, and I think you got to put Complete Unknown higher than people are giving it credit for. Like the awards expert has it at 0% chance to win. I think that's insane. I think you really got to consider the fact that Complete Unknown has momentum behind it. It's been doing better and better. Like every single award show that comes along, it just does like a little bit better, and I think if it holds that up, it's possible that it sneaks in. But especially now that Amelia is gone, like this is a crazy category, and the preferential ballot's really, really going to be important here. So I can't wait to see what happens here. I've gone Brutalist, but as I'm saying it, there's a voice in the back of my head saying, don't go Brutalist, go Wicked, go Conclave, go for something more accessible. But I'm feeling Brutalist.
You should be listening to the voice in your head, Tristan, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to be something with a positive ending. And that's Conclave or Wicked. And they're both very favorable to the preferential ballot. Brutalist has got too many detractors. It's got a negative immigrant story. Honora's got a negative Cinderella story. A Complete Unknown now, that's going to definitely move up to about 5 or 6, I think, on the list here. I think it's definitely in the top 5.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But you got, I mean, where does Dune come all the way back around and pull off the upset and end up winning?
I want to mention a movie real quick.
That'd be crazy because guess who's on here as a producer? Denis Villeneuve. So he would get the Oscar.
So he is nominated, but for producer instead of director. I do want to mention real quick a movie on here. So apparently, when I looked it up, because I was just as dumbfounded, as you can see in our reactions that we did live, I was just as dumbfounded that I'm Still Here even got a nomination for picture. I was like, what the hell? Where did this come from? This was not even expected. Apparently, I looked it up, and several of the voting body of the Academy apparently is Brazilian. Like the actual international branch, like a lot of them are Brazilian apparently. And so that is something that if Brazil is literally jizzing all over this movie, like full on, if they're
winning Best Picture, Wolf.
I'm just the reason why I'm throwing this out here is because not only would it be such an important monumental moment for something like Brazil, but also the plot has to do with a dictatorship, which is what you could also call Trump's presidency. It has to do with, a kind of right-wing kind of political war that's happening with his family, and all that kind of stuff. So it's really has that kind of political backing behind it that I feel could potentially have it upset if this movie winds up being like a Coda kind of package where it just out of the blue. Remember Coda early in the year, none of us predicted Coda was going to win early in the year. That was one of those things where we were like, oh, it's going to be Power of the Dog easily. And then later on, like close to when the Oscars happened is when we really started saying maybe Coda has a little bit of a chance, and then Coda ended up winning. And it's got the same kind of 3 nominations, just like Coda does. You know, Coda had only 3 nominations. So, and Coda won all 3. If we go through the night and we see like I'm Still Here wins Best International Feature, and then we see I'm Still Here wins for Fernando Torres, then in that case, I'm going to say, holy shit, there's a chance it could win picture. Because it just won for Fernando Torres and for
yeah, you can't sleep on that because it's very much is at least the number 2 for both of those categories. And Amelia Perez, huge win for this movie, because even if it wasn't like directly involved in the Twitter scandal, this the fact that Amelia was the number 1 and it's not anymore, like that opens up a lot of space for I'm Still Here to be the actress winner and the international winner. And then, like you said, if it wins both of those, it's definitely got to be a contender for the best picture, because I feel like it's one of those movies where people are watching it, they're going to want to vote for it, and it has that recency of people are going to be watching it like right now as they're voting. People are watching.
It's out in theaters now, which really helps. Yeah.
My thing is this. Okay, you hit the nail on the head, Wolf. You said about the dictator, about the despot. Hey, how about the Wizard of Oz hiding behind that big mask and pretending he's somebody he's not, but he ends up being just a nobody kind of guy, and he's like picking on the animals, and there's a message about that, and then power and control and this whole world of Oz and all this kind of stuff, and then he's got people doing his bidding for him, the teacher at Shiz University there's more connection to geopolitical stuff going on in this country in Wicked than you could possibly imagine. So that would be a relatable pick for that.
That is very true. I mean, I feel like politically, all of these, honestly, other than maybe Nora, can kind of tie in. Well, and A Complete Unknown can kind of tie into, today and what we're dealing with. I mean, the substance has to deal with misogyny and how men view women in like our world and in the industry. So, like, wouldn't it be wild if like the substance won picture? That would be insane.
That would be like the best win ever in like the history of the Academy, for like pure cool points alone.
It would be the best win, though. I mean, like, it would be the most shocking win, I think, since Parasite. I'd be all for it.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and Eden brings up a good point. That is something I considered. I'm Still Here missing adapted screenplay. Stops me from predicting picture. Even Coda got screenplay. Yeah, that is something I did consider there. Like the fact that Nickel Boys and Sing Sing, which wasn't even a Best Picture contender for Sing Sing, got into adapted and not I'm Still Here. That definitely tells you that there was that, at least the screenwriting branch. But when it comes to nominees, it's the different branches voting. Everyone votes on the Best Picture category, but it's the different branches that vote for a screenplay. So maybe just those who were voting for screenplay didn't watch I'm Still Here, But
and
those
Complete Unknown did make it in for adapted screenplay, which is somewhat a surprise, I feel. So
yeah,
I think that's some fuel also for a Complete Unknown. I think people are seriously sleeping on that one. As I'm sitting here, I almost want to like change my vote to Complete Unknown over Brutalist, over Renora, because I think it has everything we've just been talking about. It has that political angle of commenting on, troubling times politically and times of great change in art. I think it has a very good narrative around it. And
here's my question. What are the top 2? Try to name me this. What are the top 2 in SAG Ensemble?
Well, it's got to be Wicked and Conclave.
Wrong. It's Wicked and A Complete Unknown. And here's why I'm saying A Complete Unknown is the other one. Because when the SAG nominations were announced, at that time, nobody was predicting Monica Barbaro. Like, that just was like, whoa, what? They just nominated Monica Barbaro for SAG and that kind of thing. Like, everyone was shocked about that. And so it overperformed massively at SAG. And so because it overperformed just as much as Wicked, Conclave got all the basic nominees we predicted. If it was going to overperform, it would have gotten Stanley Tucci in, but it didn't get Stanley Tucci. While A Complete Unknown actually did
part of the ensemble, so he got nominated.
He got nominated, but guess who else was part of the ensemble? Timothée Chalamet, Monica Barbaro, and Edward Norton. But they also all got standalone nominations as well. With Conclave, it only got 2 standalone nominations with Isabelle Rossellini. Oh, in fact, didn't she miss SAG? I forget if she missed SAG or not. I'm trying to blank out. I'm blanking out on that if she did or not. She might have missed SAG. Isabella Rossellini, I think she did, and I think it only got Ray Fiennes, if I remember. And if the
problem is you look at the Conclave ensemble, and it's not just Ray Fiennes, Isabella Rossellini, John Lithgow, and Stanley Tucci. It's all these different cardinals, all these guys that have small roles, big roles. This whole expansive, and they're from all kinds of different countries: Black, white, Asian, Italian, Spanish, South American, North American. I think that cast really represents the whole of the world. I think if Wicked doesn't win ensemble, Conclave's the most obvious pick to win ensemble because of the fact that how it represents so much of the world.
I understand that, but I'm also looking at it at the point of view of what overperformed. And I think the 2 movies that overperformed at SAG were A Complete Unknown and Wicked. Just because I don't think anyone predicted SAG to go that hard for A Complete Unknown the way it did. And so I think that because of how hard it went for that, if Timothée Chalamet wins SAG, if Edward Norton wins SAG, holy shit, that movie is way stronger than we think it is. And that can be something where it could totally be showing this momentum to lead to a Best Picture win.
It's showing a lot of strength, Wolf. There's no doubt about it. It's showing a lot of strength based off the nominees and whatnot. There's no one's arguing that with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do y'all have any?
Complete Unknown's been showing up. Even Elle Fanning got nominated at SAG, and she's not even playing a real person. So they're really every single award show as we're going along seems to be wanting to show some love for Complete Unknown. I might, now that we're talking about it, I'm gonna pull out the fast one here, and I'm gonna move A Complete Unknown up to my number 1 spot. I'm gonna be the one that calls it Complete Unknown. It's winning.
Yeah, right. I feel the momentum. Also, let's not forget Elle Fanning won, not was nominated, won MBR, which was what the hell? Nobody predicted her to win MBR, and that was just the beginning of the rise of A Complete Unknown, and then it just started to rise in momentum after that, and it made a good amount of money at the box office too, and box office speaks as well. So that's why I think you could, if you're going based off box office, that's why I could see an argument between the 2-horse race being Wicked and A Complete Unknown. By the time Oscars come around, that could be your 2-horse race because of how well the box office was between the two. So yeah.
I gotta get going, guys.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I gotta get going. It's getting late.
I get that. We're wrapping up. So, do you want to say where the people can find you and everything?
Yeah, get this Best Picture thing off of here so you can see it.
Yeah.
You can find me at fromthefourthrow.com, where I'm the owner, editor-in-chief, and head film critic of From the Fourth Row. I'm a film critic in Orlando, Florida, but I also pop up in all kinds of other places you know what I mean? So, but my name is Dan Skipout. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, Blue Sky, all over the place. So, but yeah, if you follow all these other channels, you should be able to see me. I'm everywhere.
Oh yeah, for sure. He pops up on here. He pops up on Movie Hero Network. He pops up everywhere from now and then. So you guys can definitely check him out on from the fourth row, on Real Consideration, all the really good videos he does.
Oh, that's right. My podcast, Real Consideration Awards podcast, with my co-host Luis Mendez on Sunday nights mostly. We're going to be just doing a generic, regular kind of awards discussion this Sunday night. Some of the similar topics that we talked about tonight, but some other topics. But yeah, so I forgot all about that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Wolf. Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but thank you, Dan, for coming on. It was good having you, and I'm glad you were able to break down all the categories.
Yeah,
it was good.
I'm just so you too, Tristan. It's been a long day, so I've been up since.
I know, Dan. So like Heart Eyes is going to win Best Picture next year, right? Heart Eyes is going to win Best Picture next year, right?
I know what a piece of garbage that is. Don't listen to anybody that says that's good. Don't listen to anybody that tells you that's good. That is terrible.
Oof.
It's not even good at being a satire.
Well, your buddy Lee, our buddy Lee McCoy likes it, so
he likes it. Yeah, Lee's a good guy though, so I don't knock what Lee says. He's the horror guy. It just wasn't for me. What do you want to say? All right, guys, we'll see you.
How we going, buddy?
Yeah, because like he rated it 1.5 stars out of 5.
Oh man, that's bad. Yeah, I am planning on seeing that in theater, but I may have to, get a little drunk before I go to the theater and have a fun night out with some friends.
I will be seeing. I'm still here this week. And Tristan, have you seen The Brutalist yet?
No, I got to get to The Brutalist. I will in the next couple of days.
It's opening up in my theater this weekend, and I'm thinking about maybe going this weekend to see it in the theater because I only got to see my screener. But I mean, I don't know. Dogman also opens this weekend, so there's
yeah, it's a higher priority,
Yeah, do you know who voices the villain in Dogman is, right? Do you know who voices the villain? I looked it up.
No,
it's Pete Davidson.
Oh god,
peak right there.
He's showing up everywhere.
That's just the best. That's going to be the best movie of all time. All right, it's actually dude, I'm like shocked. All right, we are living in a society where one of them days has like one of the worst marketings I've ever seen, and it had like a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then I looked up Dogman, and I was like, "Oh, this is obviously going to suck. This is going to be like one of those shitty throwaway January movies." And it has like a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's that chat.
It doesn't have it anymore.
What does it have now?
It's not verified yet. It said.
Well, that's fucking weird. It had a whole score and everything. That's fucking weird. I don't know what happened there. It had a whole score and everything on Rotten Tomatoes when I checked, and then now it apparently doesn't. So I don't know what happened there, but
like just to let you know about the Oscar thing, Haunted Hippie rated I'm Still Here 4.5 out of 5.
It's weird because it even has 52 reviews. What the hell? It must be a glitch on Rotten Tomatoes part. That's really weird.
I had a fun time today. It was a really good episode. Can't wait to see how things shake up over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
See, that's why we were like so excited for you and Dan to finally meet, huh?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where it all ends up going, and just man, this is the most fun awards race we've had in a while because last year's awards race, when it was like the Barbenheimer craze and everything, it was just really boring. I remember like in that season, I was like, guys, I'm kind of done with the season. Like I full on even like said that once. I was like, I'm like bored. I'm kind of done with the season because it was like Oppenheimer. We knew it was going to sweep everything. And so it just was like boring and not interesting. And I just completely was not that interested that last season. This season is a whole nother story. I'm like alive. I am awake. I am in it. Like, this is really fun. This is really exciting. I cannot wait to see where it goes, for sure. And all this controversy stirring up, like, about Amelia Perez, makes me wonder if they're going to start stirring up other controversy. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, is Adrian Brody's controversy going to start now creeping in? Is all this other controversy going to start up? Like, I don't know what's going to happen now and everything.
And
it's
like
wild.
Cynthia Erivo's past can start coming up.
Yeah.
Fernando
Like
Torres and Zoe Saldana both have blackface roles in their past that have been getting some criticism in the last couple of days, but they seem to be overshadowed by this Amelia stuff. So I wonder if once the Amelia stuff fades out of the conversation, that some of those things come back up.
Because, okay, Cynthia Erivo, like what she said though, isn't hateful, but it's still bad. I posted in the chat earlier
about the whole Wicked poster thing.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's something worse than that.
Oh, okay.
During Harriet, right?
Yeah.
She made this tweet that says, the whole like AAVE thing, right? The vernacular English.
Yeah.
She said if young black men want to succeed in the world, they got to stop. They actually have to learn how to speak proper English. She said.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. So yeah, stuff like that can start creeping up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here and where this all goes. And who knows? Maybe I've always said this in the past. Bad publicity is still good publicity, because at the end of the day, you're still getting publicity, and people are still talking about you and are still making you a talking point. And who knows? Maybe because now Amelia Perez is the huge talking point because of the controversy, maybe it'll wind up still winning. That could just be a wild scenario where the controversy is like actually in its favor, So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But yeah, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I'm just happy we got through this conversation. It really gave me a better shape for where we're going, because going into this conversation, I thought, like, what's going to happen now, because this is such a huge shakeup. But I'm feeling more confident about my picks. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me come on. And yeah, like we talked about, if you guys want to follow me online, my best spot is Letterboxd at The Worst Tristan. And you can also just find me here. I'm on all kinds of stuff. We do reviews here, roundtables here. Once in a while, we'll do trailer reactions, we'll do movie commentaries, whatever's floating our boat, and so check us out here as we get closer and closer to the Oscars. I'm sure we'll be doing all kinds of streams related to it.
And where can people find you, Ross?
Find me on like Letterboxd, Ross PR, and here, mainly. And then I'll sometimes be on the Movie Hero Network with Dan and Wolf. So yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as me, you guys can find me on here. You can find the Mega Movies page on social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or I should say X and Facebook, all those kinds. We're also on Blue Sky. You guys can find us on any of those social media. Oh shit! I set my camera. My bad. You guys can find us on any of those social media outlets, and then also follow me on Letterboxd, where right now I am reviewing the Sundance movies I'm watching, like on Letterboxd. So if you guys want to follow me on there, that's where you'll see all my Sundance reviews. So I'm seeing at least 5 or 6 Sundance movies, so you guys can at least look at the reviews there on Letterboxd and everything. So that should be a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in and watching the video tonight. It was a total blast. Cannot wait to see where this goes next, and we'll definitely do some more awards roundtable stuff for you. It's going to be a little bit of a quiet haul, knowing that like Critics' Choice isn't happening until later and all this stuff. So, we'll definitely film something for you guys very soon, related to awards and other stuff. Like I've got reviews planned for the month of February that you guys can check out. So, and of course, the Madam Web drinking game is happening between me and Austin. We're gonna, we thought we were done with 2024, but we're still continuing one last 2024 trip, and that is Madam Web. So,
Mike, the Critics' Choice are happening this week.
So.
They're happening this week.
This week? Shit. What day?
The 7th.
7th? Okay, so I guess our awards, our final awards thing will be doing, or our next awards roundtable episode will be our final Critics' Choice Award winner predictions. So we'll probably do that for you within the coming week. And we will see you all guys in the next video. Until next time, stay classy, my friends, and keep on watching those movies.
And do not